Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. Today we are live, and we are going to be talking about Sebastian Rogers. There was a new interview that came out with some of the creators that have been talking with the Proudfoots. So I apologize, guys. I wanted to put my little emojis and my little spin on things, and when I did that, it took forever to load up last night. So it finally loaded at like 5 o'clock in the morning or close to 5 o'clock in the morning, and so it just took forever. And then whenever I was trying to load it on this morning, it's just in parts. I can't like put the whole video up. So we're gonna just do it in parts. Hey Jude, hi. What's up, lovey dove? And so you know, it was. I've been off more than I could chew, so that happens. But we're gonna have a good show. Tony, I'm so glad that you're able to make it. Tony emailed me and asked me what time I was going on, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to go live tonight, and then it just kept going farther and farther and farther in. So I'm sorry about that. I was like, we won't be live until tomorrow, and then I saw your message on here, so I was super excited about that. Um, I'll wait for a couple more people to come in, and then we can get started. What did you guys think of, for everybody that's in here right now? What did you guys think of that interview? Did you watch it? Did you skip over it and wait to watch it like when people were commenting on it, or kind of doing what I do, which is just like commenting on the video that someone else made? But I was just curious to see what you all thought about it. I thought it was very interesting. I thought that it was quite controversial, and I really wanted to talk about it. So that's my take on it, just off the bat. Um, I did think that the truth. Okay, so I think he was truth, not feelings, if I'm not mistaken. But he's elevated truth now, and hey, Jude. Hey, Jude says truth lecturing the naughty ones. Everything's being quite naughty. I think the best behaved out of the bunch was Sebastian. No, but I guess none, to my knowledge, none of the creators like knew Sebastian or anything like that. Tony, it is a video. It's gonna be. I'll show clips of it. But yes, with CP, he came on and spoke with like I said, Elevated Truth is his name. But I put the link in. Thank you, thank you, Jude. Jude, I remembered to put the link in the description. So when made the video, I was like, yes, I remembered. Um, but yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things where it's something that it seemed like it was a brewing with him for a minute. And he just wanted to come out and kind of clear the air, get some things off of his chest. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I wanted to share some of my commentary on it, see what you guys thought. Yeah, I saw some dislike the yelling. Yeah, okay, so there was like a lot. Thank you, Jude. Thank you. Yeah, Tony. So there was a lot of I mean, people were passionate, so like they were really amped up, right? And I think that has been going on in this case, like you wouldn't believe. And I guess it's something that's unbelievable to all of us. I think because that's kind of how I feel. Is like, what in the world is going on in this missing child's case? Like, I don't know if you guys followed other cases. Well, I know Jude does, and I know Tony does, but I don't know about everybody else out there. But I mean, if you follow these cases, this is usually not something that happens in a missing child's case, right? It's very different, and so and it's like not a whole lot that's pertaining to the case. However, this interview was interesting because these are people that have talked to the feet behind the scenes, which is a little bit different, right? It's typically, and maybe this is something that's just going to be happening with the YouTube era. Maybe we're going into an era where people would rather talk to a creator than talk to a news outlet or a mainstream media outlet. And so I do find that to be quite interesting, and that's what they've done here. And so let's go ahead and get started. Now, what I'm going to do too is I want to try to go live later on tonight, so I'm going to push it up a little bit. But I'm not going to. I'm probably going to skip over a major part because it was a 4 hour live. But I think I'm going to skip over all this stuff, go straight to Chris Proudfoot. So I'm sorry about that. And then what I'll do is I'll try to pick some pieces that are very interesting that happened before the live, and we'll kind of compare. I don't think he was on for terribly long. I did catch some clips on some channels that I regularly watch, and then I went ahead and watched, but I haven't watched the whole entire video except for the Chris Proudfoot part. And now all of this is alleged, in my opinion. I'm not affiliated with any other creators except for the people that I have on my show. I mean, but they're on my panel. What they say is their opinions and thoughts, and same thing goes for me. I mean, I'm just telling you guys my opinions, my thoughts, and my reactions to some of these shenanigans. So let's watch.
If you motherfuckers really cared about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, you would be supporting the people who are actively looking for him, who are actively using their channels and their platform for
Guys,
positivity.
sorry about the language also, I forgot to mention.
And before anybody gets it twisted, that goes for Clue too. That's not a dog or a diss, it's an even playing field. That goes for everybody. There's no good, bad, or indifferent. Stop playing with this young man's life. Y'all can talk all this shit you want about truth. You can talk all this shit and say anything you want to about me. Cool. But someone's got to stand up and say this shit is bullshit. Seth, where are you at?
I would have to agree, guys.
Where are you searching? Chris and Katie, where the fuck are you at? Where are y'all searching? Mr. and Miss Bowersocks, where the fuck are y'all at? Why aren't y'all searching? Seth's mom and dad, where are y'all at? Why aren't y'all searching? Extended family members, cousins, where are y'all at? Why aren't y'all searching? And don't give me the bullshit that law enforcement told you not to talk to the media because TBI came out. I mean, not TBI, Sumner County came out and said the family would like us to say that they don't have a comment at this point. But we know that the reporters are going to do what they're going to do. So what's up with that bullshit? This whole time, we can't talk to media, but you can use content creators to push your fucking narrative? Chris, Katie, Seth? The fuck? The fuck? Stop saying you can't talk to the media when you use creators to push your fucking narrative. And creators who are acting like Katie is some victim in all of this. She's the one who pushes some of this shit. But no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about that, do they? Call me a liar. I dare you. Same way with Chris. Guaranteed. Same way with Seth. Guaranteed. If you got something to say about your son, do it your fucking self. Quit hiding. People should not want your child home more than you want your child home. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Now, you can unfollow me. You can talk shit about me. You can do whatever you want to. I stand 10 toes down on what I just said.
Okay, guys. So again, I'm sorry about that. I know he was real revved up and passionate about what was going on. Jude, I hope my my earbuds. I think what it happens is when I cross lines with the mic, it does that because it's like it starts giving like a bit of feedback. But thank you for letting me know. Just like tell me if I'm um, staticky. Um, I think I need extra dryer sheets or something. But yeah, prayers for Mr. and Mrs. Ease. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Jude. And because it's Saturday, and I know there was some surgeries going on yesterday. Um, but yeah, so he was revved up. He was revved up. I think a lot of what he was saying was the truth because I mean, obviously, a lot of us that have been following the case are sick and tired of the like crazy um, shenanigans that we keep seeing from the parents. And you know, nobody's going to be perfect. None of these parents are perfect, right? But I mean, we do have kind of some clear. War lines drawn, and we got the paint on. Seems like we're the green team. I didn't realize it, but you'll hear them talking about it in the live. I didn't realize that we were the green team, but that's good because that's Sebastian's favorite color, right? So good for us. And then I guess I don't know, they're the red team, right? It's Christmas time. But yeah, so I think that, which reminds me, I added a little Merry Christmas to my banner this time around. Um, but either way, yeah, I mean, oh, good, good, good. Thank you. Yeah, and so I basically he was upset and revved up, and he wanted to come on and share some things that he had been, you know, thinking of. He was possibly stewing about this for a little bit because he was pretty revved up. So let's go ahead and watch the next clip.
You can get mad, you can get glad. I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. I'm tired of people using this young man as though he's not a real life, as though he's not a real soul, as though he doesn't matter.
Exactly.
He does. Have any of y'all seen the video of Seth at work from 6 to 7 a.m.? Any of y'all seen that video? Have any of y'all seen the video of Chris at his campground Sunday night? But we're just sitting here believing that they exist, right? Because law enforcement hasn't made an arrest, right? Is that the only reason we're believing it? When the emails came out about Seth, Katie, and Chris discussing putting Sebastian into a home, obviously we all remember that, right? Put a rooster in the chat just to make sure that we all remember that. Okay. Now let's talk about this email for a second. They all three had made the decision, allegedly, according to Katie. That's where it came from. Okay. Allegedly, they had all three come to the conclusion that they were going to try to find him a home. And then allegedly, it was too expensive. So then it was, okay, you're going to go to Seth's. So if all three of them were okay with putting him in a facility, why would it make any sense for one of them individually to kidnap him and go hide him in a facility? They all three had agreed to send him to one. No one needed to go grab him, hide him, and put him somewhere. Allegedly, the issue was the money, the cost of it. So if three of them can't afford it, how the fuck is one of them going to secretly afford it? But no one wants to talk about that because that doesn't go along with the agenda. That makes no fucking sense. But nobody wants to talk about the goddamn trash truck, huh? Oh, what trash truck are you talking about, Truth? I don't know, the one you saw in the neighborhood that day? I guess they just accidentally went to the dump. I guess they just cautiously went. They didn't have a reason. I'm sure they were just pulling that out of the air.
Okay, guys. So he brought up a couple of different points. So Seth and the time card. When it comes to Seth and the time card, we've had that information for quite a while. We have not saw any uh, footage or anything of Chris at work. We have heard some about Chris's coworkers talking about how he was not on the job at that time, how they don't start at that time. There's been all kinds of speculation, and there has been all kinds of rumors and talks about that because Silver's on the scene went. There was several people that went and spoke. I believe that he went over there obviously after he was no longer working there. That's my opinion. I don't think he was working there or staying at either of those campsites when she went, to my knowledge. But either way, we have not saw any, or excuse me, we have not seen anything from the Proud Fee in terms of like receipts, right? We don't know really anything. And then also Katie's accounts have changed significantly throughout. So Seth really, I mean, no, we have not watched the video, right? We did not see the video. However, we saw the time cards, and the time cards looked legit to me. That's just my opinion. But if we find out differently, we'll definitely discuss it. I'm open to suggestions because we don't really know much at this point. And then what else did I write down here? Oh, um, Sebastian going into the boys' home or the behavioral center, or however you want to put it. But he was going to go stay there, and they were all thinking about it, right? And they were all um, preparing for that possibility. And so, I mean, we've talked about that a little bit, and it's really sad, in my opinion. I just can't imagine how Sebastian would have felt like. Knowing that he was going to have to be put there, and like, because obviously he's smart. Kids are smarter than we think they are, and if we think that we're hiding things from our kids, most of the time we're not. Most of the time they can hear. Katie talked about Sebastian dipping behind things. Maybe he was like dipping behind things so he could listen into what they were saying. And that was my opinion. I just kind of made that connection. But it's like super sad. Hey, Faye, good to see you. Good to see everybody that's coming in. Everyone's opinions are welcome, guys. So if you're in the bushes, don't be shy. Come out and talk with us. It's this is super controversial though, so I understand if you do want to like hang out in the bushes because it's very controversial. But either way, I do believe that does have some significance and quite a connection that Sebastian was dipping behind things and maybe he was trying to listen into what was going on because they were considering this possibility of putting him in a home. And I think that those things are a lot more important, and I think that's what he was trying to get across. And I don't know, this creator. I did sub up, and I want to listen to what he has to say. I'm familiar with him on different panels. I believe I've heard him before in different panels. And then, like I said, I watched the one live with him and Cluminante. So, it's just interesting to me, and I appreciate, like, I think Tushy said the truth bombs that were dropped. I really appreciate that a lot. Let me check the comments really quick here, guys. The emails were detailed more by Tony on Justin's live last night. Oh, really? Was Tony on there? Oh my gosh! So I was having so much trouble with this video, guys. I was not paying attention to what anybody else was doing, really, and that's just kind of what happens when I get in the zone. Um, one of the channels here is called The Lab, and I can relate to that. Like, I feel like I'm a mad scientist sometimes when I go into my mode. Like, I just start researching, and I just don't even like pay attention to what's going on anywhere. You know, like I mean, I texted with my daughter yesterday. I guess would have been like 1 in the morning, but anyway, she's a night owl like me. She works overnights, but um, it's funny because I was like totally thinking we were going to get on there, but then I was texting her. I'm like, my video's taking forever, and we were just talking back and forth. So I'm really gonna miss her for Christmas. I really am. So I'm glad I got to talk to her. And then Faye says hello. Yep, she's going. She says yellow heart, yellow heart. Let me see here. I thought I saw a comment. Okay, but yeah, I need to go on. I'm gonna have to go on and listen to Justin's live. I made the end of his live, but so I think those were the two most important things in that clip that I kind of wanted to go over. So let's watch a little bit more here.
I guess,
Sorry.
I guess they just accidentally went to the dump. I guess they just cautiously went. They didn't have a reason. I'm sure they were just pulling that out of the air. Why would Officer Craddock, Deputy Sheriff Craddock, say that the trash truck video had no evidentiary value, but then when asked, could it, he said, we don't know what we don't know, which means it absolutely has evidentiary value. Y'all are worried about cars, lights, pretend flashlights. Look over here, not over there. Y'all got to be smarter than this, guys. And I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm not saying that that's the answer. I'm just saying, why is nobody looking into the obvious? The obvious. Y'all want to have these conspiracies of Jimmy Joe, Huckleberry Finn came in and, you know, aliens came in with flashlights and escaped in no vehicles and the fuck? I'm not holding my tongue very much longer. I'm going to put it that way. See, there's the one thing in my life since I got sober that I take pride in, right? That I take pride in. And that's that being true to yourself is very important, right? Being true to yourself is very, very important. And some of y'all motherfuckers, some of y'all have been doing some shit. And see, this is probably what's going to happen. Because I've said what I just said, some people are going to get nervous. I'm going to get doxxed. I predict it. I predict it.
Okay, guys. So with that, let's just start kind of at the beginning of the clip. The trash truck in Eric Craddock's quote about we don't know what we don't know. In telling Nick Beers that he's not sure if there is any evidentiary value to the flashlight video. So we were going to go over the flashlight video, and we are still going to go over the flashlight video. But I thought this was pretty interesting, and then also we're hearing from the horse's mouth, so to speak, with Chris Proudfoot. So in that, I always thought there was some evidentiary value in that. I just wanted to keep it in my back pocket. I did make some jokes with the aliens because I mean I did that back when it was talked about, because that's what it kind of looks like, is just unidentified moving objects in a video, and that's what a UFO is an unidentified flying object. And so I just kind of made that joke in connection with that. But you'll hear aliens being brought up a lot in this. I have not heard like a whole lot of people talking about that. Maybe I'm just watching different channels, but I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about aliens, but we will in this. So maybe on that front, like maybe some of the people that are over there believe that maybe aliens did abduct Sebastian. Some people believe in aliens, and I'm not trying to bash anybody's thoughts or anything like that on, or opinions on that subject, but I definitely don't think that aliens did it. And I also know that children don't just poof disappear, or we don't just poof disappear. We actually remain. That's why we have cemeteries and things where people are put when we're gone, and when our spirit is gone. And so yeah, no. And then also he talks about being doxxed for this, and I thought that was interesting. And I also thought that was kind of, oh hey Laura, hey, good to see you. And so yeah, it's just one of those things where I just feel like we shouldn't be doing that to each other, guys. I mean, if you don't want your personal information out there, which many people don't, because there's a lot of like identity fraud and craziness, harassment, all that kind of stuff. So if you don't want your stuff out there, you shouldn't probably put other people's stuff out there. But I understand what he's saying, because he's about to like start dropping some things that maybe were told to him, or maybe there was like some conversations that were had. But I think he was probably, in my opinion only, this is my opinion, I don't know this person, but I'm feeling like he was kind of just sick and tired of this bull crap. He wanted to get some things off of his chest, like he said, and he just felt like this was the time to do it. So let's go on to the next clip.
There are some creators out here. There are some creators out here who are working really hard. And very soon, I'm going to be able to tell you who those creators are. Y'all want to sue people that are trying to help find a young man while calling out bullshit? And you got people that support that? That's interesting. That's real interesting. Y'all think it's fun and funny to put mothers in a position where they have to fight for themselves because you want to be a fucking bully? It's crazy to me. Listen, I may or may not even like Granny. Doesn't matter. What does matter is she doesn't deserve to be being sued. Nope. Nope. I find it interesting that you can get restraining orders against a woman who, by obvious means, most people don't like. I get it. But it's interesting to me that you can get a restraining order against Bullhorn Betty, but you won't get a restraining order against Dog the Bounty Hunter when he encouraged people to come kick in your front fucking door. Why is that? I don't understand that. Why? Why haven't you filed any paperwork against Nick? He's out here suing people that are trying to find your son, calling you a murderer, calling you a this, a that. Where's the legal action against him? That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. I'm not here to be a lawyer. I'm just saying it seems real weird that we're picking and choosing. It's the same way the green team is picking and choosing what creators to go after. So is the other side. There's no difference. And I'm not taking one side to the other. This isn't a dislike towards Chris. I don't dislike Chris. I actually think Chris is a decent dude. I have nothing against Chris. But facts are facts. If Seth is so concerned about morals and how a family is supposed to be, and his nuclear family, why is he okay with all the unmoral shit being done in the name of his son?
Okay, guys, really quick, I just wanted to say thank you, Hey Jude, for the new membership. Thank you so much. And also, yeah, so he's right though. People have been really going at it lately about and going at each other's throats over all of this stuff. Tracy, nice to see you from Rhode Island. So yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about this whole situation. Is people are just kind of at each other's throats. Everybody's really passionate, and if they have a platform, they're more than welcome to say that what they want on their platform. Um, Obviously, it's their platform, and then also people can say what they want, and have their own opinions on things. Um, I don't think Chris is a good dude at all either. Heck no, just the vibe, right? And yeah, I think he is the bully, Tracy. Absolutely. She says I can't stand CP because he's a bully, and I believe that too. He's bullied Sebastian, right? We know that for a fact. He's hit him with the belt. He's intimidated him. He's called him names. He's embarrassed him publicly several times. Even since he's been missing, he's embarrassed him publicly. And so Edgar is the last good dude. Edgar. It makes me laugh to call. To say Edgar. That's so funny. Anyway, okay. Oh, and then they also talked about good creators. So there are good creators, and obviously, like that's in the eye of the beholder on that. So it's one of those things where, I mean, yeah, there are awesome creators out there, and it's not easy. It's not like as easy as it looks and stuff like that. So I give respect to everybody that does it, and then also the people that are like in Tennessee that are actually looking that are local because they can. They live there, and so the people that are stepping up for Sebastian, that's awesome too. Like I want to give them a huge shout out and a hug, even if we don't see eye to eye on things. Because that's what happens. Tony, that's just a nickname for the CP for the step foot. We call him. I like to call him step foot because that's what Star calls him, and she cracks me up when she says that. And Tracy says, I'm a widow, and I have autism, and I have a little boy with autism, 28 years old. Oh, I'm sorry, not a little boy, nonverbal, and raising him on your own. Okay, would never take the man over the child. Me neither. Absolutely. Shay's Safe Place did an awesome video on that, and there's a woman called The Vault her channel is called The Vault, and she said the exact same thing, that she would, you just don't do that. And it made me cry. I was like, Shay, you keep making me cry, but it's true. You don't choose a guy over your child. There's plenty of guys out there. You only get one of your individual children, even if you have like more than one kid. Um, Hi Tina, welcome in. From the things that CP says from his own mouth makes him unthinkable and a bully. Yeah, and yes, exactly. Yeah, and I really like to say differently abled, because like some of those kids who are on the spectrum, well, I won't say all of them have like unique abilities. Obviously, they have different abilities than we do, but they have different thought patterns. They have different ways of processing things, and so it's really interesting because a lot of times mentally they can kick our butts, but sometimes we don't look at it like that. And I think that everyone, even no matter what, it has different abilities than the next person. We all have our gifts that God gave us, right? And so, but I think that they're a gift to the world, is my opinion. People with different abilities or special needs, however you want to, word it. Yeah, bullies are yucky, Trishy. They really are. They really are. And I think that's why I think he's like sick of a lot of things, right? He kind of talks about a lot of things, like the bullying on YouTube, the lawsuits, right? So I did some videos on the BHV lawsuit that I thought, and like the restraining order and things like that. I thought that was so ridiculous, right? It was just one of those things where. Um, those are meant for domestic situations mostly, and if somebody that you don't know is like coming after you, and they and you don't want them to contact you anymore, but they keep contacting you, or they keep harassing you or whatever. That's what those are in place for. Those are not to be like played with, like they're being played with in this case. In my opinion, I felt like it was a major miscarriage of justice and all of that kind of thing. um, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to pop your comments up here. Panda Bear Mom says, in my opinion, I always get the vibes that Summer and Sebastian are alive from day one. Just get those vibes. Oh, I guess. I mean, you never know if they're out there or not. Like that's the thing too that is so um, horrible about it being so long. Because if they are still out there, what have they been through? But then also, if they're not, then I mean, they just need to be found, right? They need to be found. But no, I agree. I agree that we don't know. Yes, Trishy. Hey, Janice. Nice to see you. Okay, so, and then what else did they talk about? Let's see. One more thing I thought. Oh, and no one's suing Dog the Bounty Hunter. So no one is suing Dog. We know that, right? Dog is not being sued. If somebody had the cojones to to serve to serve Dog with some paperwork, I would laugh because I mean he's got a whole team of lawyers and like I mean he's got a lot more money. Now maybe if it was somebody that had like the equal means, possibly, but I don't see that happening in this case. Although Mr. Proudfoot is pretty bold. We don't know who he's going to go after, so he might, especially now that he's been called out and said, "How come you haven't yet?" Um, all right, guys, let's watch the next clip. Oh,
You got a team named after a missing young man, but that team is actively going after the person who gave birth to that young man. How is it that all the way up until right before Sebastian went missing, Chris, Katie, and Seth were co-parenting? And if you think for a second that Chris and Seth were the only ones texting, you're fucking crazy. Because Katie and Seth had a texting relationship too. If I'm lying, sue me. You won't. So why is this picture being painted that Katie is so scared of Seth? Why? How? How is that possible to be painted? You want me to believe, and I'm about to say something that's triggering. Will my moderators please give a trigger warning? This is a trigger warning to anybody who has had to endure any type of unjust, inappropriate type stuff to them. I don't know the right word to use, but if I could get a quick trigger warning. Thank you, Clue. And I'm going to give another opportunity for anybody who wants to mute for a second. I'll put my hand up whenever I'm done talking if you want to mute for a second. I really want to be respectful about what I'm about to say. Okay? When I put my hand up, if you've muted your screen, then you'll know that I'm done talking, okay? You want me to believe, as someone who was molested as a child, you want me to believe that you're going to sit out here and talk about the things that Seth did to you and that, all of these horrible things, but yet y'all co-parent, you send your son to their house or to his house, you give permission for him to go live there and go to school there, but a simple GoFundMe broke y'all. Not the alleged abuse that you claim occurred before you were 18 years old, which conveniently only came out after Seth made a statement about things that happened before Sebastian was born. It was never brought to the table before then. You're telling me you look past that. You allowed your son to have a relationship with the person who abused you, allegedly, according to you. I'll stand on the 2 feet saying, you, Katie, said he did it. You did. Call me a liar and I'll prove it.
Okay, guys, so he does make a lot of valid points in that clip, in my opinion. So there was a texting relationship with Chris and Katie. Obviously, from what they said, that they did get along to begin with, but then Chris and Seth said that they were mainly talking together, so I don't know what that was about. I was a little bit stumped in a way, but I figured that perhaps they were talking, but from what everybody had said before, not everybody, in terms of like the YouTube verse, but mainly, it seemed like Katie really didn't associate as much with Seth as she did with, um, that Seth and Chris mostly talked, and Katie didn't associate as much with Seth as we originally thought. So, I mean, it looks like she actually was texting with him back and forth, according to people who have talked with them. I don't know why that is a huge like secret or anything. I don't know why they would make. I wonder. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to make themselves look like they were good co-parents. I don't know. But co-parenting is not easy. It is very difficult. If people do get along really well like that and just hunky dory, they're really lucky and smart because it's good for the kids. That's the best thing for them. And Trishy says, "Can you tell I'm preschool teacher for life?" Fussing words like yucky or using words like yucky. Yes, no, I like that though because you gotta find different words like other than swears on YouTube. Unless you're just always cussing like a sailor. But the five case against CP and KP exactly, Tracy. That's actually one really big um, aspect of the case that I like to discuss and that we did on the last live was the CPS reports because there were so many of them. And then Seth claimed not to know about those reports until after, well, according to Tony, until after Sebastian went missing. And so he found out about all of them. And then the 5th one is still pending and it has not been closed yet. And so apparently the other ones were closed. I don't know why they weren't closed, but they said there's only one open. So that's the only thing I can kind of surmise from that. Let's live in reality. He's probably not with us anymore. If you heard the audio video, then you might feel a different way. Oh, Tina. Yeah, welcome in, Tina. I know. It's hard for me to even get myself there. I don't want to say it because I wouldn't want people to say that about my daughter if she was still out there. You know what I mean? And then also, there is like a big piece of me that doesn't want to believe that Sebastian is not with us anymore. So it's hope, right? Hope. And Tina girl, it's sad to think about, but very well possible. Absolutely, absolutely, Trisha. And Tony says no, only CP and Seth, in my opinion. Tina girl, yes, audio. The audio is very hard to handle. Um, yeah, I mean, just all of it, and even the Texas Roadhouse video, in my opinion, was bone chilling. Seeing just the interaction, seeing Katie not order a steak when she's at a steakhouse, and knowing that Sebastian doesn't particularly like steak, it's very odd that they would go to that, they would choose that restaurant. And Tina says, uh, were they co-parenting though, or was it CP calling all the shots? That is a great question. But you know, we found out that Katie is like not as like innocent as we all think. Yes, she has definitely been through trauma. I think if you live long enough, you're going to experience trauma. I think it's just a part of life. Some are much more extreme than others, and I don't want to minimize anyone's trauma. But with that being said, I don't know. I feel like Katie might have called more shots than anyone, but I know that Chris is a control freak. So also, um, Tony talked about DB being a factor in the CPS reports, and Katie wasn't the aggressor, it doesn't sound like. So without reading the reports or knowing what's in them exactly, I can't really say heads or tails of that. But just in my opinion, from what Tony said, that's what I can come up with from what he said. Tony says, in my opinion, she refused to talk to him or wasn't allowed to talk to him. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. That they just said, like, if you don't think there was a texting relationship, then you're crazy. And I'm like, well, maybe we're all crazy. But they did allude to that, or they didn't even allude to it. They straight out said, like, we talk more. And maybe towards the ending they were, maybe Katie didn't want Sebastian to leave, or maybe they were trying to cover Katie's behind and saying that, hey, basically they were trying to cover her behind and say, hey, I wasn't, she didn't have anything to do with it. We wanted Sebastian out because she was getting so much flack, saying that they were trying to talk Katie into it and whatnot. That was something that they were saying, along with the fact that they were the only ones texting. Really, Katie wasn't in the texting. And Trishy said, I forgot to do an eye roll with my last comments. Tina, I think Elevated Truth is starting to feel a different way about some things. Yeah, I do too. And I think he's feeling a little bit like it was kind of guilty, Well, Tony, it's hard to tell. I think they all have some pretty, uh, you know, I hate to say, I don't know how to say it, but the tendencies towards like hurting others, bullying others. I feel like a lot of the parents have that in them. Not Seth particularly, but I should say the feet. They just kind of have that dynamic in the household. Yeah, it is so powerful, Trishy. Hey, Bullhorn Betty, welcome in. It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see you. And Faye says, wow, Tony, the hate channels have been saying that Seth was. Okay. Tracy, Nina. Yeah, well, Nina was, and then also her children were. The little 3-year-old was spanked really hard. Her daughter was backhanded in the face, and because she had braces, her braces busted her lips open, and she was bleeding. And then there was also the mistreatment. Like Nina would say that he would make them feel bad and say mean things to them, and just mistreat them. And I believe her. Because she doesn't make herself look like coming out smelling like a rose by any means. Yes, Tony. Yeah. And CP is her. Yeah. 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 I mean, it is crystal clear. He's definitely okay. Like, don't get me wrong. It is very crystal clear. So Chris is absolutely a bully. I just feel like Katie's not as innocent as she put herself out to be. Also, on Justin's show, he did go over some of these things about uh, the way that Katie was perceived by the school. Uh, she also, in the Chronicles of Olivia interview, I got some better earbuds, and when I put those in, it was amazing that I could hear a little bit better. But she cracked her knuckles when they were talking about the flashlight video, and like, to me, that body language is either like something that, some people pop their knuckles no matter, whatever, they have that habit, but like, to me, that was like a aggressive behavior, like crack crack, and she only did it twice, and it was very creepy, very, very, very um telling of her true self, her true personality. And I've said that a lot, like in my older videos. Some of them, I mean, obviously, I've gotten better and better as I've come along, right? Because like some of my older videos are like, oh boy, I try not to watch them, right? Because I'm like my biggest critic. But when I think back on the way that I kind of saw Katie portraying herself in an underlying way or in a covert way, was like where she was kind of like not the nicest person, but she was trying to make herself seem sweet, and oh, I don't know, he never does run away, and oh, I don't think that's really Katie. And Yada also said on Bullhorn Betty's show that yeah, she says that she's manipulative, and so yeah. And welcome in, everyone. Dreamer, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah. So I mean, it's very interesting, guys. It's very interesting. Astrology for Mythics. Good to see you. Hey, y'all, Sebastian. No one actually is going to run away without shoes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. I definitely don't think he was going to run away without any shoes. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he ran away at all. And the reason is because he would have been somewhere close. We probably found him by now. Unless he was picked up by somebody else, that's a possibility. But I really don't believe that he was out, because I mean, obviously, if we're to believe that that house on the corner was the one that was videotaping everything, Sebastian would have been able to be seen, right, leaving the neighborhood, because that's the way out of the neighborhood. I don't think he would go into the woods, because obviously he doesn't like bugs, and we've heard that from Seth. Katie said that in the second interview she did. He does not like bugs, and I don't blame him, because I don't like bugs either. Exactly, Faye. No scent. Shoes still by then. The door. Yep, not happening. Not happening. I don't believe so either. I don't believe so either. It's all possible, obviously, but yeah, Tony, I do believe Nina. Tabitha, nice to see you. Very good to see you. Okay, guys. So, has anyone addressed the dent in the garage? Tony, I mean, I saw the dent. I thought that was a really good picture of the dent in the garage. It looks like someone might have kicked it from the outside, but you never know. Like, it's kind of, it does kind of go inwards. Um, but who knows? Because we know that, like, Chris Proudfoot has a temper. So sometimes when people have tempers, they like punch holes in the wall. They'll kick things, they'll break things. We all have our little temper tantrums, if you will. Maybe you'll throw your phone or be like, dang it, or whatever. But like, I think his are extreme, um, from what we've seen. Yeah, Trishy. I mean, Tony was the first one. She brought it to my attention whenever we were looking at the garage photo where they replaced the light bulbs, the floodlights, and they put like those nice halogen bulbs in, and the bulbs weren't there that night. It was just the two little lights above the garage that are more for like a pretty tiny bit of light, but just like maybe more ambient light than the floodlights that kind of turn on and shine down so you can actually see what's going on. And that's the weirdest thing to me, is that they didn't have it well lit, with Katie being home by herself and Chris being away at work. So Tony says, I thought it looked more from the inside, but could be wrong. Maybe I could blow it up and see, like, if I can enhance it a little bit, and like, kind of zoom in on it and see, and we can look at it, because I mean, that's interesting to me. I think we should examine the house, because that was the last time he was there. So I think it's smart to do that. And then also the neighborhood, because now that what they're saying is that camera was out of view, and I don't believe that. I don't believe it was. I don't know why they would point the camera into the wooded area, maybe a little bit to see if maybe somebody would come out of the woods to, into the neighborhood. But I don't. Yeah, I just don't think that that's plausible. Faye says, based on their pattern of behavior, Edgar and KK did exactly the same to Nina and Seth with the protection order and unbelievable things they filed for the divorce, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we see that they use the courts as a weapon, right? They've done that, and it's actually ridiculous because of the fact that um, they're not using the resources to find Sebastian, but they're focusing in on all of this other crap. And they've been doing this to Nina for like 6 years. Like, this is nothing new. They have been in and out of court and family court, and I'm going to tell you right now, I know it sucks. You have to keep on dealing with this narcissist over and over, right? And then also, just now they're pulling selective people in, and this is what Truth is talking about here. I just call him Truth just to be, I think he goes by that too, though. But either way, that's what he's talking about, right? He's talking about the fact that they're picking and choosing people. It's very kind of, there's not a whole rhyme or reason to it really, other than the fact that they're targeting certain people, and these are the people that are looking out for Sebastian, right? They're out there. They've traveled to, okay, so we talked about how it's awesome that the people that are living there are helping, but these people have traveled in from other places to come and help. And to me, we need to give credit where credit is due, and we don't need to be bashing people, or especially not taking them to court like this. And these restraining orders are absolutely bonkers, in my opinion. And Astrology for Mythics said, gonna run for now when you cover Tabitha Tutors. Oh, yes, I will. Yes. Okay, Tabitha Tutors, guys. We talked about Tabitha Tutors at the end of the show not last night, the night before, excuse me. Yes, you have a good day too, hon. Thank you for coming in. Yep, and that's my email. Thank you. Hey, Jude, you're awesome. You guys give a shout out to the mods. Thank you so much, Mod Squads. All right, now let's watch the rest here. Let's see, GoFundMe. Oh, one more thing, right? So maybe even two things. Okay, GoFundMe really quick. He's saying like he's mad. He doesn't believe that that's really the reason that like broke up the co-parenting situation that they had. So that's what he's saying, is that don't expect him to believe, or he does not believe that the GoFundMe was the the riff in the family unit, so to speak, the co-parenting unit, right? And that's the one that they were kind of trying to portray like, hey, we were good co-parents. It does sound like they had an open relationship in that regard, where like if he wanted to if Seth wanted to take Sebastian, they weren't going to give him too hard of a time. We do see that sometimes where people will use the kids as a pawn and be like, well, you can't see him, or if they ask for extra time, they'll say no, things like that. So we do see that a lot, obviously, and that's when you have to go back to family court, because that's the only way you can change the co-parenting arrangement too. So it's just very it's just very chaotic, and it sucks. And then he brought up the fact that if Seth is so bad, why did Katie allow Sebastian to go with Seth so readily? In other words, if he was so abuse, abuse, right, to Katie and things like that, why was it so readily? Why did she let him go with his dad, right? And a couple of ways to look at it. One would be, absolutely, what was she thinking if he was that bad, right? But then another way to think of it is that is his dad. So some people do justify or rationalize that because that's their child too, right? And it's just only fair, especially because Sebastian wanted to be around his dad. But I do agree that if it was that bad, Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Good morning, or well, I just turned noon. It looks like um, Eastern anyway. Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's amazing, guys. It's amazing the things that we can explore in this case, and that is one that I agree does deserve some attention because there's been some lies by omission on the other side when it comes to Katie. In my opinion, like she won't come out and say that Seth wasn't a bad guy, and that he did ask for her hand, like her cousin was saying, her second cousin was saying, Yada. Yeah, she won't come out and say that. So that is a lie. Also, if you're going and just sitting back and oh yeah, we're let everybody think that. No, that's not fair to him. It's not right, and he's getting called an actual, like a chomo. Like how who would want to be called that? That's not that. You know what I mean? And so, and also his son is missing, and he's looking for his son. And so it's very frustrating to me when it comes to that because now we know, okay, right? We had a family member come forward and say, um, a brave family member come forward, and she was one of the only ones, and he did kind of touch on that as well, because that is frustrating. It is.
You want me to believe that a GoFundMe was more hurtful, harmful than any of the accusations that were made? You want me to believe that you can't get past the money in order to work to find your child? I'm not saying your accusations did or didn't happen. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't live your
Hey,
life, and I
Joe.
don't know your story like that. And if it did, in fact, occur to you from the bottom of my soul, from one victim to another victim of that horrendous type activity, I am sorry you had to go through that. But if you were woman enough and human enough and mother enough to put that shit aside and not ever worry that he was going to do that to your child, right? You're telling me you can't put it all aside over some money? Mm-mm. No, that don't work for me. That don't work for me. Guys, y'all can keep telling me I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm not. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. After this live, I assure you there are going to be people that are very angry at me. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Because the fuck shit has to stop. Crimson, it didn't happen in public. It happened on a phone call. I'm telling y'all, I have no reason to fucking lie to y'all. The fuck do I gain from it? All people have been doing is lying
Hey,
to y'all.
Lisa.
They've been lying to y'all. Both sides have been lying to y'all. Both fucking sides. Guys, if y'all think that I'm sitting here talking out of my ass, tell them to prove me wrong. Tell them to come out and prove me wrong. Why is it that everything with Chris, Katie, and Seth always has to do about something sexual? Why? Why does everything revert back to sex or sexual indecency? conversations, comments. It's not just Seth. It's not just Seth.
Oh, sorry guys, I was writing on the table, so it's, it's a little shaky there. Okay, so he was saying that he doesn't think that they chose money over everything, right? So like he's really is adamant about the fact that he does not think that the GoFundMe was the reason for the big rift, right? And I mean, sometimes money is over everything. I mean, it's the root of all evil. It's money talks, BS walks, right? Stuff like that. But he could be right. I don't know. He's a little closer to that side of the fence than I am. And he talks about people being big mad about the live, right? He knows, he can see his comments are going probably crazy, and he can tell that people are having a negative reaction to it. In my opinion, um, he wants the BS to stop, though. He's adamant about it, and you can tell he's very you know he's passionate about the subject. He just wants it to stop. There has been, it seems like, some trouble brewing within him, thinking about staying true himself, and he doesn't like what he's seeing. He doesn't like what he's been a part of. He does mention about being a new creator, so it's very possible that he's been thinking about this for quite some time, and now he's ready to speak out on it. Right? It seems like that is the case to me. He also talks about how everybody is lying, right? And I do think that we all lie by nature. We're human nature. We do lie. Everybody lies, right? Sometimes you might tell a lie because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. And then you have other, like a good example would be like a friend who comes out and says, "What do you think of this outfit I have on?" And one friend would tell you like, "Hey, that doesn't look nice on you. You should wear like this," or something, like pick something different for you, right? But then you might have a friend that also is like, "Yeah, it looks great," even though they don't think so, right? So they're just trying to maybe spare your feelings, and so that's a different type of a lie, of course. But we all lie, right? It's just the way it is. It's one of the sins. We all do it, right? And but there's a big difference between being like pathological liars. I feel like the feet lied to lie, like they lied just to lie. So that's one thing that's I see a difference in, is the fact that Seth has been straightforward about a lot of things with us, right? He's been straightforward on way more things. When he was being interviewed, it wasn't like pulling teeth. Hey, Freebird. And, you know, so it's just one of those things where I find Seth to be more believable because his he wasn't afraid to take the poly, right? He took one. He even told us that he fell asleep, guys. He's kind of sometimes, and I'm like this too, so I can't fault him. But sometimes he's a little bit too honest with people, and but he said he's like, yeah, I fell asleep and stuff, and I mean that's going to happen. Also, they do try to make you very calm. They put you in a calm environment. Sometimes they dim the lights. I think he was extremely tired because, let's face it, he was actually searching. And that's my opinion on that. He starts talking about a lot of the like sexual innuendos in the case, and I don't. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but in my opinion, I don't think that Seth has talked about sexual innuendos. I think that he spoke about SA on his son, but I don't remember him. And if there's clips out there, guys, and you want to send them to me, because if I get something wrong or if there's something that I missed, I would be happy to look at it. You know what I mean? But I like to see things with my own eyes and hear it, and stuff like that. I guess because I'm from the or I lived in the show me state for a while, so maybe that's why I want you to show me. But I also just in general, I have not seen anything from Seth really that's talking about that type of thing. I have, however, spoke about Chris and his nastiness that he exposed to Sebastian. that I thought was inappropriate, especially for someone who went through that. Um, so I guess that part was a little bit differing in my opinion. But either way, I think that there has been a history in within that family. Doesn't seem like, again, it was on Seth's side, but it was more or less on with KP and CP. So KP had a lot of trauma, that I don't want to really get into, because it's her trauma, right? And I don't think it doesn't have much to do with Sebastian's case, other than the fact that that's his mother and that's the trauma that she went through, so that can affect her in different ways. It can be a positive if she gets help. If she works through it, it can be a negative if she doesn't. So that's up to her. I don't. I'm not here to judge her on that or anything like that. But I did want to talk about what he was talking about. Okay, so let's watch the next one.
Once again, if I'm lying, sue me. I bet you won't. That includes Chris, Katie, and Seth. Now, I've never met Seth. I've never had a conversation with Seth. But the reports are out there. The testimony's out there. Why have y'all hidden the big secret this whole time, Chris, Katie, and Seth? I think that people need to start getting real with themselves. I do. If y'all care about this young man, why aren't y'all out here talking? You don't mind using creators to talk for you. Why aren't you talking for yourself? You got these creators out here spending day in and day out trying to help find your son. You're allowing people to be drugged through court on behalf of looking for your son, but you don't want to come out and be honest with the people? You don't have to believe a word I'm saying. That's fine. It doesn't do me good or bad one way or the other, whether you believe what I'm saying. It doesn't. But I had to get that off my chest. I hope y'all know that I'm extremely uncomfortable with the conversation I'm having right now. I hope that it's obvious that this is not enjoyable for me to do. This conversation probably is not enjoyable for any of y'all as well. I told you I was only going to be able to hold my mouth for so long.
Okay.
I mean, would you disagree with much or any, or I mean, maybe there are some things you disagree with. Is there anything that I've said that you would disagree with or you'd like to say otherwise too?
The only one thing that gets me is when we talk about them being able to like co-parent, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
GoFundMe breaks them up, right? I do have to at some point give credit to at least Chris
Mm-hmm.
because he, went to the vigil, tried
He
to,
did.
and then the next day it was right back to he didn't attack Chris the next day. He only attacked Katie, right? Which,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Katie wasn't there with Chris trying to mend the fence. You know what I mean? It was just Chris. But
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably was, speaking for her, saying, like, you keep attacking me and her and whatever. But I don't know. This case is literal psychosis, in my opinion. And I will say this, in my opinion, and I probably am going to stand alone on this, and that's fine. But I get the I get saying that Seth is out here doing things. He's trying. But today there is an association with a pastor of a church.
Right.
Where again, someone who is completely effing innocent could be being brought into a suspicion for nothing. If I were in this situation and the person that I fathered, or the person that fathered my child was doing all of this, I mean, I would be furious. I would literally be furious.
Hey Jude, yes. I think that maybe because he does mention that, and that could be very possible that he is, since he's in recovery and things like that, he's wanting to be honest and like, especially like AA. I don't know what kind of recovery he's in, but like I've heard of AA where there's like, making amends for things, right? Because they they have done some things whenever they were not sober that they were embarrassed of, and they hurt other people, and so they want to make amends for it, make things better, right? Mend things with others. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, Freebird, it makes me really angry too, like with all of that baloney about Seth and being a pedo, and it's just, come on, that's awful. Tony says Edgar is is the sex talker. um, I agree. He's very he, like, what did he say on the other live too? I linked it in the live, the last live. But he was like swangers and bangers and something that he wanted to make his YouTube channel. It's kind of nasty. Well, not even kind of, like absolutely nasty. I wonder why that was brought up. I think the three okay, I get it. The sex talk is coming from the stepfoots, etc., making accusations. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't heard anything. I mean, sexy talk or anything from Seth. I've heard more of like I said about the SA. You know what I mean? And that's understandable because when he came out with that, it was more or less to kind of let us know or put things into perspective in the case, in my opinion. And it got changed. Hey, nice to see you. You know what I mean? So I think that's more. It was to bring awareness. Lovely Shadow, so good to see you. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, that one's out. Hold on, guys. Come on now. Don't say stuff about people in the comments. All right. Let's just keep it nice. It's Christmas time. No, Jude, you're the nicest person I've met. I'm just kidding. She's the nicest person in the world. Stop all that. All right. So anyway, people are sick of the BS. He talks about that, right, too. He talks about how people are sick of the BS. And I agree. I'm sick of the BS in this case. I think we need to get down to the meat and potatoes of the situation, find out what's going on. We need to find out what happened, right? People, one good thing that I saw that came out, and I haven't been able to keep up with everything, right, guys? But At Night is talking about giving people some money if they have, which, I mean, again, money talks, right? If they have footage. So they're trying to find some more footage on Sebastian. It would be really nice if SF would give up the so-called bunch of footage that he has and work together with the family. I think it's kind of shitty. This is going to be an explicit show. I'm going to say some swears too. Why not? It's shitty. It's really shitty. You have all that proof. Why aren't you sharing it? How come you're not giving it to people to help out? How come you're keeping it like as if you got some top secret stuff that could really help find Sebastian, but you're just keeping it to yourself? Grow up. Do the right thing. And let's see. And then Clue, she goes on to like talk about how she disagrees with what Truth is saying, and she gives credit to Chris for going to the vigil at Beach High School and asking for them to work together. Okay? To me, that is such a BS statement. To go after, Chris is, at least Chris, no. Did Chris stay for the vigil? No. He didn't stay for the vigil. Did Katie come to the vigil later with Chris? No, they didn't. Have they gone to one single vigil? No, they have not. Have they had their own vigil for Sebastian? No, they have not. You mean to tell me that they went to church, but they didn't? They're not going to do a prayer vigil for their son when he's been missing for 10 months? Christmas in what, 4 days? 4 days. Sorry, that was I have you plugged in. 4 days. Come on, guys. I mean, maybe that's why he's pissed, and I don't blame him for being pissed. All right, let's watch the next one. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. I lost count here. I just want to make sure. It doesn't save the last one that I was on. I know what number video I'm on. I just have to count now. 2, 6, 8.
This, like, what if this preacher isn't involved? I'm going to go on a limb and assume he's not. But what are you doing? Not because it doesn't just stop at the preacher, right? It goes to the entire congregation, the entire community of people who go here literally to their sanctuary to worship. You're putting a stigma on for what?
I agree.
So I get the whole perception that he's out here doing things, but at some point I am going to consider the things that his team is doing. Because let me tell you, I've also heard about this same team having talks about planting evidence on my fucking property. I didn't know who Sebastian was before he went missing. How the fuck are you going to try to make me look like I'm guilty of a goddamn thing? Where the fuck does that even come from, bro? Where does that even come from?
I think at the end of the day, the tit for tat bullshit, I I cannot sit and honestly say that the tit for tat bullshit has not most likely contributed to some level the fact that we are no closer today than we were 10 months ago.
I agree.
Running bear. That is absolutely untrue. They were not told by law enforcement not to speak to media. Go back to the original Sumner County Sheriff's Department release where they specifically said the Proudfoot family is asked not to be, they don't have a comment at this time. However, we know that y'all as media outlets are going to do what y'all are going to do. Now, does that sound like law enforcement backing that up, or does that sound like go do what you're going to do? Right. So this is what I want people to understand by what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Katie is guilty of anything. I'm not saying Chris is guilty of anything. I'm not saying that Seth is guilty of anything. But I'm so tired of this one-sided bullshit where y'all are making out Chris and Katie to be these just quiet, they're not doing anything, when they're causing just as much shit in the background by giving information to creators and having creators go push it. What's the difference in them doing that and Seth doing that with his team? There's no difference. And there's no secret. The people that talk to Chris and Katie on a personal level, if you will, have been very clear and said, you are suspect to us, me. We are not friends. Some of y'all don't seem to understand that. And Clue can vouch for this. We have had that conversation. I have had that conversation with Chris and Katie and told them both that they were just as guilty as anybody else. And they weren't getting a free pass in my book. Right or wrong, Clue?
Correct. I mean,
Thank
right.
you.
Sorry.
So for anybody who thinks that I'm over here
right now.
Huh?
You're scary right now.
I'm just aggravated, yo, because it's like every day I come on here, There are some creators on here that I really like. Queen's somebody I like to watch. I watch Betty, even though she drives me insane. I watch Dolly. I watch Clue. I watch a number of Granny's watching. I watch even Nonsense is Nonsense. I watch a lot of people that I think are good fucking creators, but we may not look at things the same way on this case, right? And I'm so tired of coming on to watch those creators that I like constantly talk about hatred and anger in each other. When y'all are really fucking good at doing what y'all do, you don't have to keep doing this bullshit.
Okay, guys. So a lot went on in that clip. Let's start out with the preacher. So apparently, let me switch over back to chat. Sorry, guys. I wanted to take the banner off. I'm going to post the whole video, right? We're just going to go over parts of it as we go, but I'm going to post the whole video that I saved last night, which was about an hour long of, with edits and everything like that of the live. So I think I got through maybe like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and I condensed it down. So I'm going to go ahead and post that up there. It's waiting to be unprivated. But yeah, so they talk about the preacher. I don't know a whole lot about the preacher, right? Cursey words warning. Thank you, hey Jude. Oh, and guys, I wanted to really, because we haven't had like a whole lot of time to kind of go over the expectations and stuff like that, but feel free to whack a troll. If you gotta whack a troll, because we don't need people being disrespectful to each other in chat. Also, one thing we can just put them in timeout real quick. If somebody makes a rude comment, we can put them in timeout, give them a juice box and a crayon, and then whenever they're out of timeout, then if they continue it, then we'll just boot them out of there, and then we know that they're really trolling. But I mean, I want them to be able to. I want people to be able to say their opinions, but you don't have to call each other names or be rude, right? Okay, because that's a bully. When you guys just come out and say something like that, and you're actually the one that looks like a bully. Okay, so just wanted to say that because this is going to get heated, right? And people are very passionate. I understand that. I am too. I really am. But either way, I don't know about the preacher. I don't have any proof yet. I want to see some proof. I want to see, and I haven't had a chance to look at a whole lot. Also, so just remember that. But it's what they're speaking about is a preacher that apparently was in, I think, Freedom Church in Gallatin, and that was one of the ones that was mentioned by Chris himself. He said he told Smiley they go to that church. He and Katie both confirmed that, so that's where that preacher is. He does talk about other missing cases, and he's been quiet about this one, so there was some speculation, or actually more of a question of why. Why was he being so quiet with this? Truth for us, nice to see you. So that's one thing. You know what I mean? That to consider, because I don't know how far the accusation went. I think it was just more or less maybe a why. Why is this going on? Liars are gonna lie, guys. There was, Clue is like, I don't know why people are saying I knew Sebastian before this. Anybody that was local has been told that, as far as I'm concerned, or excuse me, to my knowledge. I've heard that from a lot of different creators, that they were accused of that, knowing Sebastian prior to this. I don't really put a lot of weight to that. I take that with a grain of salt. I don't think Clue knew, Sebastian. I don't think they did know Sebastian. And the reason why is because they only lived in that house for about a year and a half. He wasn't allowed to go outside. Let's remember that. He wasn't seen outside very often. And when he was seen outside, according to a podcast that I saw on Crime Lines and Lies, he was mistreated while he was outside. And the neighbors heard him being called names by Chris. So let's just remember that. He was very isolated, guys, unfortunately. And Cletus, okay, so with Cletus, my opinion on him is this: he always sounds like he is reasonable, but then he does unreasonable actions with Clue, and I feel like they perpetuate a lot of lies out there and a lot of hatred, and that's just my opinion, But again, like I said, creating is not easy, and I respect anybody that's out there creating. And then also, I know she tried to do a reenactment, so I mean, she put some time and effort into finding out what's going on. Although I do believe that it is to push a false narrative. I think if anybody pushes false narratives for Chris and Katie, she would have to probably win the gold star. Then there's silver and bronze, so on. And then let's see. The feet declining interviews with the media. They were telling people that law enforcement told them not to engage with the media, but again, it's not like they're going to be thrown in jail if they engage with the media, if they speak out about their son. So yeah, I just think that was a total cop out, and they absolutely, and it's a point of contention for me. It makes me upset to think that they don't want to go out there and shout from the rooftops that they miss their son. They want their son home. They want him to be found. It's just very odd behavior, very odd, and not something we're used to seeing from parents who truly want their child home. You can see a stark difference between the way that Seth acts and the way that the feet act. Okay, so it's just, if you watch if you watch how Seth reacts and then you watch how Katie reacts, and I've done a lot of comparison videos on that, but if you see the way that he comes out and talks about his son and the way that the feet have talked about him, it's just a stark difference. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to see and hear, but all I can say is go back and really watch and listen, and you might change your perspective a little bit on it, because it's just a major difference in my opinion. Let's see. He also talks a lot, he not a lot, but he does touch on the fact that Chris and Katie have been causing trouble behind the scenes, and they've been going to these creators and they've been talking to the creators and having the creators kind of do their dirty work for them, right? So they've been quiet, but they've also been behind the scenes talking to creators and telling them, and I don't know which or who, except for Clue obviously is one of them, but is telling them these things to push out to the general public. And they're just staying behind the scenes, pretending like they're being quiet, but they're really not being quiet. They're using someone else as a catalyst to get to the public and to push this narrative, this false narrative, in my opinion. And he does mention too, like, we don't all have to agree to kick it, right? And I really like that, because there's a lot of channels that I'm subscribed to that I watch that I don't agree with everything they have to say. If I did agree with everything they had to say, that I wouldn't be thinking for myself, right? And if I would go from channel to channel and agree with their channel and agree, then I wouldn't be being true or truthful to myself. And so, yeah, I watch people I don't agree with all the time. Why not? Sometimes you'll watch something that you don't agree with and you might see it in a different perspective. Or it might spark a new idea and say, well, actually, no, this is why I believe this even more. So we're not always going to agree. And I would hope that you guys wouldn't just unsubscribe to me because you didn't believe in one thing I believed in, or because you didn't agree with one thing that I said. Because to me, I don't think that would be fair for either one of us to cancel each other, without giving each other a chance. And like I said, I think it would be, kind of boring to watch people that I just agreed with all the time. Marina girl, nice to see you. And so, yeah. And then Truth was saying that he told them flat out that he thought that they were sus, that he's not their friend, that he just wants to get information, which, I mean, I think that's, if that's the case, I mean, that's what he's saying. I think that's very much nice of him not to just pretend like he's their friend and let them know, hey, I'm kind of wanting to shake you down, or I'm kind of wanting to, understand what happened to Sebastian. I'm not really interested in being your friend. And I think that's one of the misconceptions that Chris, I've saw in Chris that, and people have mentioned it too, in the chat, like in past lives, he thinks he's like a celebrity, or that people really want to hear what he has to say. And honestly, the only reason why people want to hear what he has to say is because they want to catch him in a lie. And that's for the most part for his supporters. Yeah, he does have supporters. Everybody needs people, and I mean, I'm not going to fault people for supporting him. That's their choice. That's their decision. It's my choice and my decision what I believe, and we're all entitled to that, right? We're in America. That's part of our rights. And then Clue calls him scary. Okay, and all of his a lot of people in his chat are like, you need to smoke, you need to eat some edibles, blah blah blah. And I don't think he does. I think he needs to keep telling the truth. If smoking is going to make him not tell the truth, then I don't want him to smoke again. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, I don't know him, but it's just, hey, Linda, nice to see you. But yeah, it's just like one of those things. So, it is what it is, and it's his opinion. We're all entitled to change our opinion. We're not going to keep the same opinion over the course of time. Especially in this case, how can you? Everything changes before you know it. This is going on, and then before you know it, someone else is popping off over here. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing, guys. I'm just kind of reading through your chat. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll pop this next one on. I'm sorry if I'm talking your ear off today. This is a lot to get through. My goodness. Okay. On number 9.
This, like, what if this preacher isn't involved? I'm going to go on a limb and assume he's not.
This isn't a hate towards anybody. This is some of you creators are fucking amazing at what y'all do. But that's not what y'all are doing right now. I was a fan, a follower, a subscriber, whatever you want to call it, well before I ever had a channel. Now, I mean, you can say what you want to, because people just don't want the truth. The truth doesn't fit the narrative that people are pushing.
I do agree with that, right? I do wholeheartedly fucking completely agree with that shit. And, it's really a eye-opening thing to spend time on the ground doing shit, come out and put out what you found, and see it, just people lose their goddamn mind over it. And it's like, it was never intended to cause anybody to lose anybody's mind over, right? But then you step back and look at that and go, why? And it's like, you cannot fucking talk about this case without talking about it in a way that fits somebody's fucking narrative. Otherwise, it's either not heard or it's fucking scrutinized to death. The shit cannot just be what it is. There is a 16-year-old child missing, and a lot of people want him found.
True. Renee Limberg, how do you know that to be a fact? You mind answering that for me? Yeah, I believe that Betty has good abilities. I think that she's misguided in this case, and I think she's been misguided in the way that she's done things. But I do believe that at her core, she is good at researching. It doesn't mean that I'm going to support her, but I have a respect for any creator who's going to step out and just be themselves, right? It doesn't mean I have to like them. It doesn't mean we got to be friends, but I can show mutual respect. That's all.
Tired of the bullshit in this case. Is there something going on that I'm not? Because I mean, I'm kind of picking up what you're laying down, but there's a little bit that I'm not.
Well, I think that there's a level of, you're going to understand this a little bit, and I hope you do. And this isn't for the chat, right? This is
Right.
directly for you.
That's what I'm talking to me and you, not the chat. I mean, I'm
Okay,
just directly
so
from you. Like, what's, you know what I mean?
this is
If
what
you
I'll
want to
say.
talk to me privately, you can. That's fine too.
We can, but this is what I want to say. When you're dealing with someone who's under the age of 18, you have to be very careful what you say on a public platform.
True.
Okay? And if there's anything that I'm not going to do, I'm not going to embarrass or disparage a 16-year-old young man who has autism when I have autism myself. If people can't pick up what I'm putting down without me saying XYZ PDQ, they no disrespect, but they don't need to know.
Right.
You know, we're at a place where everybody looked at this email being released, right? As, oh, you know, wonder why did they bring it up? But nobody looked at the fact that all three parents had thrown their hands up. And then the narrative wants to be pushed that Seth put them somewhere, or Katie put them somewhere, or Chris put them somewhere. How does that make any sense? If they had all three agreed to do that, it was too expensive. So then one of them are going to go kidnap their own kid, send them to the place and pay for it themselves without anybody knowing? That don't even make sense.
Okay, guys. I'll make sure I wasn't muted there. Okay, so I totally agree with him, and thank you, Sandy. Thank you about the emojis. I tried to make some of them Sebastian, and then I'll make some more though. I forgot I need to do some more emojis. Thank you for reminding me of that. But thank you very much. He's talking about just now about being careful with kids on YouTube, right? So like if you're gonna post except for the missing child posters, obviously we post their face because they're missing, and if, in case we see them out and everything like that. But when it comes to kids, we really shouldn't be doxing these kids, right? Because they have to go to school, and if they get seen on the internet, it can go a couple different ways. One, people will be like, oh, hey, I saw you on the internet, that's cool. Or sometimes they might say, hey, I saw you on the internet, and they might start bullying you. So it's not okay to be bullied, you know, to do that, and then the kids will be bullied over it, right? And then also just obviously, how would you want your child to be treated and things like that. Hey Jude, thank you so much for gifting a membership, and you guys make sure you say thank you to Hey Jude for gifting that membership if you get one. So yeah, I mean that in my opinion is really important, right? Just to be respectful of the little ones, because it's not their fault. They didn't ask to be brought into this situation, and if their parents are doing stuff, then it obviously also isn't something that we want. I mean, it's just not their fault. It's not their fault, and don't do that. So, all right, Trishy, yay! Trishy's a member. That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, the email that was put out apparently talking about the schools, right? I'm sure there was a few emails talking about the schools, because it sounds like they corresponded back and forth on those emails. I'm not for sure, but either way, one of the emails is what they were speaking on just now. And I mean, my thoughts on the email is that it's more information to understand what was going on before Sebastian left. And I think it's really important for us to know what was going on before he left, because it speaks to the family dynamic. It speaks to what state of mind Sebastian may have been in. And then it also is really important for us to understand, moving forward too. So hey Jude, that's hilarious. Yeah, so I put a lot lizard on there for Terry Lynn. So when she comes in here, we could give her lot lizards, right? Because I'm one of her lot lizards. So I made a custom emoji for my friend Terry Lynn. So anyway, yeah, the email, I think it's important. I think it's really important. I'm glad it came out. I think it speaks to what was going on. Very important. Now, I know, and I'm not trying to be really hateful towards Clue, right? She's a creator and everything. She's entitled to her own opinion, but I do feel like they are, spreading that false narrative around. Oh yeah. I'll tell you, I get really lynchy if there's dog hair on. If there isn't dog hair on me, then I'm in good shape because usually I got dog hair on me. But yes, Laura, the lot lizards. But yeah, so either way, it's one of those things where it's really important that we know what this dynamic is. I do feel like they gave the email to Clue to kind of push their own narrative out there, just like when we were talking about how SF broke those 4 photos to begin with. I really truly believe that they thought they were helping rather than hurting. I feel like it hurt the situation. And the reason why I think it hurt that situation is because of the fact that we can see, again, this dynamic between, even though there was no sound and we couldn't hear the talking and everything, we can still see the body language. We can still see the dynamic and how Katie was towards Sebastian. He also looked really confused to me when they went straight out to the one car and they almost got into that car, but then she turns him around and puts him towards the first car that's in the lane. I found that to be really telling. Like, there was a reason why, and I feel like he may have been trying to go to that other car and they switched cars, and that's why I think that, because he looked very nervous after that. And we can also see him with his hands in his pocket. We can see her on the phone, but he doesn't have a phone with him, or he's not using his phone. And so there's just a lot that we can tell from those videos. And I feel like, again, with this, putting out this email and putting out all of this information behind the scenes, then they can take control of the narrative and they can say, no, actually, this is how it is. And this is how it is. When in reality, it's not that way. And I feel like they are pushing false narratives. Now, I don't think Clue and Cletus are bad people that's their friends, right? We're going to stick up for our friends, and, everybody needs people in their corner. So don't get me wrong. But what I do want to convey is my opinion and my thoughts on it. And I really do feel like that they need to re-examine what they're doing. And I think Truth was trying to help them do that. And that's my opinion. All right, guys, and I have one more clip for you. And but Trishy says, I have a theory about what happened with Blue's Clues and how they flipped and became the key YouTube creators behind the scenes. Oh, I'm interested in that, definitely. I know we do need a tea party on that. We definitely need a YouTube tea party on that, because I think it's interesting too. They actually did flip over. Now, I heard Clue say that she really got a weird vibe from Seth, right? Now, everybody, if you get a weird vibe, trust your gut. I mean, I believe in trusting your gut. Whenever I haven't trusted my gut, I have gravely, regretted it. So I always try to tell people to definitely do that. But so she said that, and I don't know if that is the main reason. I don't know if that's the only reason, or I don't know if that was just something that was said because she didn't want to tell the real reason. It could have been any of those, or something different even. But oh, crab legs. Aw, that is so sweet. Yeah, go eat your crab legs, Tony. Heck yeah, girl. Eat some for me. And Tina says, I'm sorry, but if my friend committed a crime, I'm not, so sure that I would have a conscience to keep it quiet. Well, and then even look at like someone like the Unabomber, right? Like his brother turned him in because he read the manifesto and he was like, oh, whoa, sometimes we're put in a position where we have to put our own family members in, people that we care about, people that we love, we have to tell on them, right? I had to do that when I was in a DV situation. I had to tell, and I didn't want to, right? Because I love that person. I just didn't want them to do that to me anymore. So yeah, it's absolutely hard. And then going back to Sebastian, he told, but I don't think he wanted to tell on his family. He didn't want Mr. Chris to be mean to him. He probably loved Mr. Chris, and he probably wanted Mr. Chris to be nicer to him. And it probably hurt his feelings that Mr. Chris was so mean to him. But at the end of the day, you got to tell, right? Otherwise, people don't know what happened. So, that's my feelings on it. But I agree. If it was my friend, and I knew that they were going to hurt somebody, or that they had hurt somebody, especially their own kid, yeah, I'd probably be tweeting like a little stool pigeon. Okay, so, and I'm sorry I'm not getting to everybody's comments like I usually do. I know there's more people in here today, so but just bear with me. And then the moderators are doing so great. Thank you all so much for that. You guys are just awesome. And we have one more clip, and then I'm going to add more on. We're going to go live later on tonight. But I wanted to hop on because I was like, oh my gosh, they're never going to believe me that, like, you guys might think I'm like sitting by the pool and just maxing, relaxing. But I'm not. I wasn't. I was working really hard. But I didn't want to go live at like 5 this morning because I was like, who's going to be up on a Saturday morning to go live, right? So I wanted to go ahead and get as many videos as I could loaded onto the StreamYard, and then we just play through. And I mean, gosh, we've done, this is the 9th video. Sorry, 10. I uploaded 10 videos. But 10 videos, and my goodness, guys, we have been on here for almost 2 hours. So, but I want to go back and read some of your comments. I want to hear what you think about this piece as a whole, and just know I want to know what you guys are thinking now after we watch this last clip. And thank goodness for it, because my coffee is kicking in. So let's watch.
How did Sebastian do an online FAA course that doesn't exist, but got a certificate for it, but happened to get the certificate from a certain neighbor's son's girlfriend? Also happens to be the same person that Chris had a verbal altercation with one night.
Which is that the same one that was just out there with the whole, let's, not talk about, they knew about the girlfriend and the boyfriend leaving and all that? Okay. See, I ain't talked to Chris in a long time. I haven't talked to him. I swear to God, I ain't talked to him in a really long time.
Me neither.
Okay.
Chris and Katie quit talking to me. That's fine. I don't care. This has been 2 months ago.
Talking to them, I just, you know what I'm saying? I don't really.
Let me say this because I want to be clear about this. I'm not saying this because they quit talking to me. Like, they didn't quit talking to me because there was a falling out. We quit talking because there was nothing more to talk about. I'm not there to be your friend. I'm not there to be your buddy. I'm there to find out as much as I can about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. When there's no longer anything else that I feel that I can find out, I'm not there to kick it with you. And they knew this the whole time. This is no secret. I was very blunt and open with my reasoning for talking to them. It was never hidden. I've told Katie since day one, I think she's guilty of something to her face. I also said it's possible that Seth is guilty of something. I've also said it's possible that Chris is guilty of something. But I don't think a 15, now 16-year-old boy disappears. And there's only one route out of the neighborhood other than the back of her car. The dogs went to the end of the driveway and stopped. Do I need to draw lines? I'm not trying to be rude in any way. I hope everybody understands this. Like, I'm not trying to be rude in the slightest. But we as creators, and I'm a new creator. Listen, I have screwed up my first 8 months really a couple good times, right? I'm a new creator on this platform. I'm learning the ins and outs, right? But the one thing that I've learned is that if you don't stay true to yourself, you're going to sell your soul out on this site. And I can't do that. The lies are rampant, and it's because certain individuals won't come out and talk, but they'll do all the talking behind the scenes.
I think everything from him walking off to fucking aliens abducting him are still on the damn table because we're 10 months in and we got nothing. We got
Thank you,
nothing
body
more.
moving.
We got nothing more than exactly what we had day one. When you take
Is that true, though? Is that really true?
Well, when you take the narrative bullshit away from it, what have we got? We got nothing except a bunch of shit pushed as a narrative or taken as a narrative. And quite honestly, none of it is really, there's nothing out there that's really hardcore that says a damn thing that anybody is talking about, right? That it's just not. There's nothing out here that's really fucking moving the needle.
Because everybody's so caught up in their conspiracies, they're not able to see what's right in front of them, in my opinion.
How long did they search the landfill?
No
Well,
one knows.
How do we know they ever stopped searching the landfill?
Well, I mean, they came out and said they didn't find anything. Didn't they come out and say they didn't find anything there? They only checked it.
They never said they stopped looking. They just said they hadn't found anything.
No, they said they stopped looking.
Do you believe they stopped looking, Clue?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. The way you flung back in that chair, hold on now.
I mean, if that's what she believes, that's what she believes.
Okay, guys. So, some pretty grim subject matter there when it comes to the landfill and things like that. One thing that he's talking a lot about is being true to yourself, or being true to you. It's Shakespeare, to thine own self be true, right? And so he's trying to convey, in my opinion, that it's important to him to stay true to who he is instead of just jumping on the bandwagon with everybody else's thoughts and feelings on this, that he has his own opinions and that he really feels strongly about conveying those to the audience and letting people know that he's not really on board with some of the things that some of the other people are saying, right? And that's just kind of, again, my opinion there. Now, Cletus gets really ridiculous, so I got really ridiculous, and I put the Close Encounters. If you guys have never seen that from Saturday Night Live, there's like 4 or 5 of them, but they're really funny. And that one was the one with the really cute guy. I forget his name now, Ryan, or I think his name is something or other. But either way, I thought it was hilarious, just the way that lady from Saturday Night Live is, and the aliens and things like that, because Cletus will blame anybody, and so will Clue. They blame anybody, even aliens, for Sebastian's disappearance, quote unquote, because we don't disappear, we remain. And they'll blame anybody, so it's like it's comical to me, so I added a little bit of comic relief in there. But in all seriousness, we are looking at a child who was being searched for in a landfill. And they don't search for people who are alive in a landfill, right? We don't think that Sebastian, and neither do the police. Hey, Linda, we don't think that we just don't think that he went to the landfill and go hang out and hide out in the landfill, and neither did the police. We also, a lot of us knew that the landfill search that was done was not just precautionary, and that's what the police were telling the media outlets, and that's what the media outlets were letting us know, is that it's just precautionary. They're checking the landfill, blah blah blah. But we all knew, most of us knew, that they don't check landfills as a precautionary. That's not just part of everyday police work to go to a landfill and check it. You also have to have search warrants to do so, or you have to have permission from the owner of the property and for them to allow you to do that. But most of the time, and it's the most professional way, obviously, is to go to a judge, get the search warrant, provide a probable cause statement for that, or a reason for that. And then there you go, Bob's your uncle. You have the warrant. Sorry, I sit on my legs a lot. but or my feet rather. So there was also, there's still someone out there that they found out in Andersonville County. I don't want to speculate too much on it, but we haven't heard very much about it. So I've been kind of checking on it. Not even kind of. I've been checking on it a couple times a day just to see what's going on with it. And then obviously it's a person out there. Someone was found, and so I'm just hoping that the family gets some resolution. I know next week is the Christmas week, and so yeah, it's hard. It's hard to talk about. It's hard for I don't want to really admit these things. But it's tough. It's tough. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go back up into these comments because I want to see what you guys have said here. Oh, here, let me add this. I'll add my banner back. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, the Northwest is gorgeous, huh? That's awesome. That's awesome. And then Katie, hey, Jude says, Katie, look. I mean, that's the thing. I think that they're trying to do like a more of a look over here, it wasn't them. Now, of course, guys, I think that we need to look at all possibilities and theories. I'm not just saying, oh, look at the parents, that's it. But in the same way, I really feel like there's enough supporting evidence to give them several side eyes. several. Yeah, so Trishy says, hey, Jude, exactly, this is key. Car, right? And like I said, we're going to go over to a lot of the details on that car, and then also the flashlight video. I feel like that is really, really important, especially since people who have been talking to the feet are very focused on it, right? Now, they might be focused on it because it's nothing, but honestly, I do believe that flashlight video holds a lot of weight. It has a lot of evidence. It has a lot of things that we need to be really focusing on. And so, and as I was saying before in the last live, I mean, the lay of the land there is very strange because it's on a hill. There's hills, and then also like there's different elevation in just kind of that general area. And then also they're doing a lot of excavating because they are putting up new builds. So they have another phase just right next door to their subdivision, right, or that part of the subdivision. So no, Joe, I don't believe that he walked out either. No way, in my opinion, that he ever walked out of that house willingly. Did he have reasons to leave? Absolutely. Did he could he have left? Yes, but it's not likely. And the reason I say that is he didn't take his cell phone, he didn't take shoes, a coat, anything like that. He's gonna do that, right? He was used to taking care of himself to some capacity, and so I do believe, and especially like even little kids, that they're 5 years old, I'm running away, and they start getting their little stuff together, they bring their things, and yeah, I mean, it's just natural, and it's going against the norm, and they want us to go against the norm and believe that. And then to the fact that they even want us to believe that maybe even it's possible that aliens came and abducted Sebastian. Well, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that old movie Fire in the Sky, where the aliens come and get him. Yeah, well, they put him back after a while, so he probably would have been probed and back with us. So that's just my opinion. Hey, Jude says, pardon me. Oh, excuse me. Pardon my blatant honesty, but cozying up to the suspects and flipping on them is the oldest script on YouTube. Oh, good point. Yeah, and I did think about that in a small way, but you're okay then. Yeah, see, and I'm new to YouTube too, like in that regard as a creator. So, yeah, that is interesting. Obviously, if you go against popular opinion, but you're on the other side of the people, then you can cozy up and get close, right? And then you have a lot of information, and then your subscribers go up, your credibility at your street cred on YouTube goes up, probably because you are obviously closer to the case than most. So thank you, June. Thank you. Freebird says, in my opinion, CP and KP never looked, right? Well, they said they never did. They said that law enforcement, again, and they blamed it on law enforcement. They said law enforcement told them not to look, which initially they did. They said don't look, but then again we have Seth going out there yelling out the window trying to find his son, right? So absolutely. And Trishie says, yes, exactly. Nobody got footage of him leaving the front door, which is what, is insisted upon by the stepfoots. Yeah, absolutely. Why did they insist? That's a red flag in every missing scenario. I agree. And then even Chris said, well, he would have been picked up on the Ring camera from across the street. We would have heard something, meaning maybe Katie and the dogs, or they would have heard something, meaning Katie and the dogs. Because in what Katie's told everybody, and she told Nancy Grace, she was the last person who was in the house. There was no one else in the house that night, just her and her son and the dog. So she could be saying they, saying we because of the dogs, but yeah, I've seen it way too many times. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you letting me know, because I mean, obviously it's something that most people wouldn't think of. You know what I mean? I mean, I definitely wouldn't. I kind of, I try to stay away from like people that don't do the nicest things, It's just better that way, I feel like. Not naming any names, but Linda says CP likes to bully women, but won't go ahead and head to head with a man. I agree with that too, Linda. I said the same thing. I said that I wanted Chris to go down to the bar and find a guy to fight, that's his size. That way, at least to be fair. But for him to yell at Robin and to get in Bobby's face in the neighborhood, and to I mean, he's done so many things. He got in Seth's sister's face. Like, I mean, and he admitted it. He's like, I've been a hothead, but it's like, okay, but, and that's nice. Yes, please, thumbs up, guys. But yeah, I mean, like that's all well and good, but yeah, it's just, it's not something that we're used to seeing in these cases. It's very odd. And Linda says, keep watching. He tries to keep calm when truth questions him. It's so good. Yeah. Okay. So, and I'm going to have to put that in the next part, but I'll probably skip over, like, I named this one the Whaa Burgers, and French Cries, because, because I feel like towards the end of this, hey, Gracie, I feel like towards the end of this, that like the creators start kind of getting whiny, and they're like, well, how come? And Granny gets on and she's kind of complaining, but it's like, I don't understand why they didn't see some of this coming, because if you're going to be so sneaky and behind the scenes and things like that, things are going to start coming out. Things are going to start coming out. Hey, Betty, nice to see you. All YouTubers that are in here for clicks and views that have no idea what the real truth is going on need to back off. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think if you don't really care about the case, right, if you don't really care about Sebastian, then you probably shouldn't be speaking on it as frequently. I mean, I want everybody to talk about Sebastian, but in the same way, it's like, if you're going to put things out there that are negative or that aren't helpful, on a day-to-day basis, and those are the things that have been going on, like talking about Seth the way that they have. To me, that's not fair. It's like, why don't we examine the events rather than the people, right? And that the same can be said about the prop fee. But the problem is that I would be looking way more harshly at Seth had he been the last one with Sebastian, had he not taken a polygraph test, and had he not been, straightforward. I can't say he's been 100% truthful, because I don't know that. But in the same regard, I really believe that he's been the most straightforward, and he's been the most consistent while Katie and Chris have changed their story and expected us to believe very outlandish things that are not even a possibility in my book, like poof, he disappeared. No, he did not. He did not. That's impossible, right? Marina Girl says, in my opinion, I think they're looking for security cameras at the landfill. No hazmat suits were worn. Okay, well, that's very interesting. I would be wearing one in the landfill. I'm sure that wasn't a fun search at all. Deception Detective is going to do a video on this. Cool. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. I'm going to look out for that, definitely. I mean, you know, I feel like it took a lot of guts to do what Truth did. I feel like it was, like, if you take a stand, especially if you take a stand and you're willing to confront people with the things that are upsetting you, that's a very brave thing to do. And just to stand out away from people that are maybe like friendly with you, I think that took a lot of guts for him to do that. And also, when he talked to Katie and Chris, he let them know, we're not friends. Hey, don't look at it like that, because really I'm just interested in getting the information about Sebastian, and that's really my main focus. So they knew, but then again, it looks like they told a little bit more than, and maybe they were comfortable with that. You know what I mean? Very interesting to find out. Very interesting to find out. Truth for Us says, my hope is Sebastian didn't overhear fighting about him and or where he should go. Exactly. Yeah. No, Truth for Us, I'm afraid of that too. And I'm hoping that he didn't too, because yeah, like whenever Katie was talking again about that dipping behind the walls and stuff, I know that was kind of weird, and I kind of thought about it too after she said it. I was like, well, why would he be dipping behind things? And the only thing that I can come up with since this has come out, I kind of made the connection that it's very possible that this poor little kid was listening to what was happening, and unfortunately he heard some things about himself that he probably didn't, that probably hurt him really bad, coming from his parents. And I mean, I can't lie, when I was little, I would eavesdrop on my parents, especially if I knew they were talking about me. You know, it's just what little kids do. They know a lot more than we give them credit for. Let's just put it that way. And Trishy says, and then let's remember too, he was 15 years old. You know, he wasn't little. He was 15 years old. So, yeah, it's very sad to think. Especially because they didn't mind saying the horrible things about him like they did. They didn't mind it. They didn't mind saying stuff like that about him. They still don't mind saying things about him like that. And he's been missing. You know, they've done it the entire time, in my opinion. And Trishy says, I think the hate channels got the truth first, took him under their proverbial wing, and was good until his conscience started getting to him, in my opinion. Trishy, that is a very good point. Okay, and it was one that I had written down, because he says he's new at YouTube, right? Okay, this is why I think this, and I'll you put your thoughts in the comments too, please. So I think he's a new YouTube creator. I know that people do that. They do take people under their wing. They're very helpful, and I'm so appreciative for people who have done that for me. Right? I talk about it a lot, and I talked about it in previous lives. But I think that now he's starting to realize that it might not have been the best idea, or he maybe he shouldn't have accepted that help, but how was he to know, right? So I don't think he should be too hard on himself. I don't think we should be too hard on him either, but I did pick up on that, just kind of that perhaps he's deciding that he would rather venture out and stay more true to himself rather than who has kind of helped out in the past. Because again, we're always allowed to change the road we're on, that we're always allowed to change our minds about what we think. And it's going to happen as we grow. that, you know, that happens in every relationship, right? That happens in a lot of relationships. I mean, you know, hats off to people who have been together for 50 years, because it's not easy, and it's definitely one of those things where, um, you know, it's for lack of a better way to say it, because we sorry, he gets excited, he gets really excited. um, Django, are you just so excited? You're just so excited.
Starting to see his daddy.
Yeah, he's excited. So, but yes, so I mean, it happens. We grow, we change, and then we decide that we don't want to be in that relationship anymore, right? Because we've grown and we've changed. And so I think that's a very strong possibility there. Sorry, guys, I almost lost my total train of thought there. Brain fart, brain fart. I gotta walk my doggies real quick, hey Jude. And we love our doggies, I'll tell you what, and our kitty cats too. Yes. And I appreciate Jude's kindness too. I appreciate all you guys. But yeah, guys, so that's basically this part of the live. So basically what I can gather from the whole thing is, yes, he's trying to be true to himself. He's trying to be someone who is standing up for the truth and what he sees as the truth. And I really commend somebody that does that. There were a lot of things that I agreed with him about. There's some things that I disagreed with him about, but overall, I think it was something that was really strong-willed of him to come out and speak his mind, and then especially to be passionate about Sebastian and about keeping it about him. That is really important. And I think that when people lose sight of that, it's okay to hold them accountable and say, hey, look, this is not about anything but Sebastian. He's the one that matters. He's the one that needs to be found. You know, I mean, I say it all the time, that I really believe that Seth is really, you know, the one that's looking out for his kiddo, that's really trying. He's doing the vigils and all of that. I'm the first one to say that. But in the same way, Sebastian's more important than Seth, right? It's because he's the kid, because he's the one that's missing. And Seth knows that. The problem with Chris and Katie, in my opinion, is that they don't know that they make it about themselves, that they don't make it about Sebastian, that they're always talking about everybody bashing them, but look how they act. I mean, we're going to go into Chris later. I'm going to get that uploaded, and I'm not going to do as much Lady Freedom flair into it, okay, guys? But because I want to upload the rest of those videos that I put all the little gifts and things in, and then we're going to go over that. But then with the Chris part, I think I'm just going to leave it like more raw and kind of just, you know, play with the editing a little bit so I can transform it a bit. But I probably won't add as much commentary like I did on this one. But that's just because I want to get it uploaded faster. The other one took way too long and I was stressing hard about it. But we're going to see that, like, they can dish it out, but they can't take it. So we're going to do that as a part 2 tonight when I go live. And what we're going to do is talk about how a lot of these creators, they would rather have the Whaa Burger and some French Cries than to listen to the truth that is being served up by Elevated Truth. And Chris is definitely going to play the victim card later. We know that he loves to do that. We know that he is very cunning. I don't think that Chris is smart, per se. He has gotten away with a lot, and so has Katie. But I don't think that they are smart. I think they're more cunning, manipulative, and we see that because now it's being brought out again that they're behind the scenes causing trouble and acting like they're innocent, and they're not, you know, and they're letting other people do their dirty work for them. And one thing that I can't understand is, why is Clue jeopardizing herself and her channel to do this? Why is she doing that? Because she's not dumb. I don't think she's dumb. I think she's got a good brain on herself, but she doesn't really use it for good. And that's what Truth was saying, is that even though there's creators out there that have that have it, what it takes per se, but they don't use it. They don't put it to good use. They would rather put the good for bad. And I completely understand that. Excuse me, guys. I think that I caught the cold that was going around on YouTube because I was thinking it was like swimmer's ear, all this different things, but this is like the ass end of this cold, and thank God it's the ass end and not the beginning. But yeah. Now, the thing that Chris doesn't always, and neither does Katie, in my opinion, the thing that they don't count on is the fact that they're not original. Right? They're not original. There's people out there that act just the same way. They're narcissistic. They're cold. They don't care. And honestly, there's people out there that have studied these people, psychiatrists, psychologists, and they have come up with tools to combat these people. So if you're dealing with somebody like this, and we're having to deal with a guy like Chris, you're not alone. The good news is that there's tools and resources out there, right? But they're not original as they think, and there are certain patterns and behaviors that can be easily recognized by people who don't have, a PhD or any type of extended schooling like myself. You can read an article, you can watch a YouTube video, and you're going to see the same traits and characteristics that we're seeing in Mr. Chris. And although he thinks that he is pulling the wool over at people's eyes, he really isn't. He is making a fool out of himself. He's acting a fool, and he is making it to where people absolutely suspect he and Katie of foul play, no matter how many times Sheriff Craddock comes out and says, no foul play, the parents are cooperating. We all know. We can see it. And I'm really glad that somebody who is close to that side of the investigation has come forward to talk about it. And I really think that it was a very interesting, controversial live last night. And I'm glad that we were able to go over it. So I think I will save some of these other comments for later, but it definitely looks like there's trouble in paradise over there. The partnerships that have transpired are kind of falling by the wayside in the name of Sebastian. And for that, I am very grateful. And I feel like it is very important that this happens because he's the one that matters. And at the end of the day, we need to find him. And the more that we can come together, I think the better. But like I said, there is definite war paint, colors, sides, a line in the sand, whatever we want to call it. It's definitely something that it's been like that for quite a while, and I don't see it changing until we know the truth, and the truth will come out. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that everything that is done in the dark does come to light, and I think that it's just a matter of time, really. I'm glad that we're all talking about Sebastian still. I think it's of the utmost importance that we do. And I think that it's important that we talk about all these missing kids. But later on, we're definitely going to go over the rest of this interview, and then we're going to hear from Chris. And I don't think Katie talks in this interview. Like I said, I haven't listened to all of it, but I don't think she does. And, we'll have to just see what we think about what Chris has to say. I'm going to go ahead and upload while you guys are waiting for this live tonight. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go on about 9:30 again, because I should have everything finished up by then. But I'm going to go ahead and release at least the part that I got done last night, because I wasn't able to upload it all onto here. I have to do it in clips, and the clip sizes, if they're too large, it won't let me add them in, so I have to make them short little clips like how I showed you today. But I did have fun speaking with you guys about it, and it was a really big crowd that came in, and I appreciate everyone who did come in. Thank you so much for giving me the support and the love. Thank you to the mods. You guys are awesome. And just all of your comments were very thoughtful, and I think we all have the same focus in mind, and that is for us to, hey Margaret Chapel, hey Megan Els, to bring Sebastian home. Oh, it looks like my chat might have been. Okay, now that I'm scrolling. Okay, sorry guys. I missed a bunch of comments, my goodness. Hi Violet Wind, good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, definitely go check out Gracie's Gavel. Please subscribe. And a new video was dropped with what Dog posted on X towards Sebastian's mom and stepfather. I am on no one's side except Sebastian's. Oh, okay. So Gracie dropped a little bit of what Dog had to say, and I did not see that. Like I said, guys, I have been in my own little world. So I appreciate that, Gracie. I'm going to go check it out, girl. God only knows what's going to come out of Dog's mouth. Margaret, I will be back. I got to take Santa outside. My dog's name is Santa. Oh, how cute, Margaret. Like Santa's little helper. Aw, that's adorable. Yeah, and if you guys have channel links in here, you know, people that I know, obviously, but you know who you are. If you guys have channel links, drop them in there, or let one of the mods know, and they'll drop them for you. Joe says they aren't as smart as they think they are. Absolutely. I agree, Joe. They are not as smart as they think they are. They are very, very much manipulative, though, and cunning, you know, and kind of vindictive in that way, but they're not fooling many people. And I think especially the people that are closest to them are starting to kind of realize that. And then also with this recreation, it's like, you know, that field of view just goes right past their house as if it's not in the field of view. And to me, I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced. Santa Claus, how cute. He needs a little hat. He needs a little hat, Margaret. And Gracie says, that is amazing, Margaret. If you will email me and pick of Santa, I will send you a very special video. Aw, how cute. Oh, that's so cute, Gracie. I love that. Happy to catch me live. Thank you so much, Violet Wind. Yes, ma'am. I'm telling you, last night I was trying to get on here, but it was a whole ordeal. It does that sometimes, though. If I put a lot of GIFs in there, like, it takes a long time to process it through, and then it takes a long time to upload it to YouTube too. It wasn't doing bad with like the small clips, but oh goodness sakes, when it came to the larger ones. And Gracie says, to anyone with pets, please send me a picture and I will feature them. Grace's Gavel at gmail.com. Pets on YouTube. No owners' names will be in the video, only pet names. That is so cute. I love that, Gracie. I can't wait to watch those. I love animals and pets, and oh, how cute. I've seen Jude's dog. You know whose dog is so cute is that little Minnie. Minnie's little dog, excuse me, not little Minnie. Minnie's little dog. She has a Cocker Spaniel, and oh my gosh, she's like a little lady in the tramp. She's just so pretty. And yes, his name is Jude. And thank you for subbing. Yes, everybody go sub up to Gracie. Freebird says, when I get my husband to get a pet bird, I will send it to you. Oh, cool. Yeah, birds are super awesome. Like, what kind of bird are you thinking of getting, Freebird? Because I know, like, the macaws and stuff, and then also there, like, some of the little, like, I mean, I've had parakeets and stuff, but some of them talk, and I like to watch the YouTube videos where they have the talking birds. Like, it's so hilarious. This one lady has a bird, and he does like he kisses her and he'll be like, "Thank you, baby," and it's so cute. Like, and he does it all the time. He'll be like, "Uh-oh, thank you, baby." It's so cute. And appreciate Hey Jude. We all appreciate Hey Jude. Joe. Freebird, what pet bird are you wishing for? The ones that talk back. I know, right? They're so funny. Like, and what's funny too is you'll have to really watch what you say because you'll be teaching them phrases that, because they're so smart. Like, those birds are so smart. I love all birds, though. I was thinking of an African gray. Ooh, those are. Oh, sorry, I got so excited. Those are so pretty. Those are so pretty. I don't know what's up with my table. It wasn't doing the shaking thing. I probably have something like underneath of it or something. Yes, thank you so much for being here, everybody. Gracie says African grays are incredible. My friend has 3. They all have 1 bedroom to themselves. They're beautiful and smart. Aw, that's so cool. Freebird says, I'm so jealous. They're fun to watch. Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, I think all the birds are so beautiful. Um, that's the nickname that I have for my daughter. I call her my bird. She's had that nickname since she was a baby, like days old. I called her my bird. Um, yeah, Sadie. That's right. Yeah, Gracie has a Sadie too. A Bailey and a Sadie. The Indian ringneck videos are the cutest. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out then. Yeah, I could totally go down the rabbit hole of bird videos. They're so funny. Like, it's so cute what they teach them, and then they come up with their own stuff. Like, they'll say the funniest things, and it's just adorable. It's adorable. Yep, Minnie got a puppy. Let's see. Much love, sweetie. To Gracie. Yep, Bailey and Sadie. This Silas Panda Bear, he's spoiled. Aww. Oh, how cute. I'm gonna have to look. Guys, I'm really bad. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses. That's why sometimes I have trouble reading your comments because I'm squinting so I can see them. I need to get my prescription like renewed because I can't go on like Zenny and get new glasses until I get a new eye exam. But I've been slacking hardcore on it. But very cute, Laura. Very cute. Bye, Sandy. Thank you for coming by. I'm about to probably hop off too because I need to get to these videos and get it ready for tonight. So we can go live and it'll be interesting. Gracie, you are more than welcome to come up, girl, tonight if you have time or if you want to. Feel free to come up, and we'll get something worked out. We need dog emojis. Yes. I put my pug that passed away. I put him in there as a custom emoji, and then it just says the Lady Freedoms because he was my mascot for the channel, and then of course Beagle was too. But now Beagles has the briefcase. He holds all the files for me. But yeah, you'll see him in the custom emojis, and then I did one for Terry, and then I did Sebastian, and I think I have 2. Yeah, I have 2 Sebastian emojis, but I'm gonna make some more custom emojis, guys. So definitely let me know if you guys want me to do some custom emojis, or if you have like a request or something like that. I'll try to fit it in. They're really fun to make. They are super fun to make, and just something fun. Yeah. Oh yes, I'm thankful and accept that invitation. Thank you, Gracie. Yeah, I know. It's just like so cute, like the pug. I love pugs to death. I'm gonna get a pug. I'll probably get another pug at some point, but it's just been hard. I'm not ready yet. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to replace somebody. So, but yeah, guys, I thank you all so much for coming in and for being patient with me and my lack of storage on my iPhone. I think the new iPhones have like way better storage, so hopefully when I do an upgrade, which I always do an upgrade like right before they come out with the new one. Like it's always like a week before too. Like it'll be like I need a new phone or I'm ready for a new phone, and then the next thing I know, and I'll even tell the people at the store, I'll be like, there's not a new one coming out yet that I should wait for next week for, and they always like look at me, and then I'm like, oh, I bet you there is, and sure enough, both times. So that's happened to me. Yeah, Laura, he is adorable. I'm gonna have to go back and look too because I know I saw him, but I gotta like squint and stuff because it's so tiny. Um, all right, guys. Well, thank you all so very, 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 very much. I love you all, and I will see you guys next time. Stay safe out there if you're going out holiday shopping or Christmas shopping, if you're wrapping presents, if you're drinking cocoa. Definitely stay safe. And I will see you tonight at 9:30 Eastern is the plan. But if anything changes, I'll post it onto my community wall. But it shouldn't. I think I'm going to be right on track as long as I can get these other ones uploaded from this next part. And then I'm only going to pick and choose unless I find something really interesting because I'd rather just go straight to playing the step foot. Yes, Freebird. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's what I really want to do. Oh, I will. I will. Panda Bear's mom or Laura, I will do that. I will do that. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Tina. Thank you so much for being here. It's great for me too, and it's because of all of you guys being here. That's the reason why it's so great for me. And then also I get to talk true crime, and I like to talk to true crime, even though I know kind of wasn't very much of it in this very first part, but it's definitely pertaining to this case. And so, but yeah, once I can get all that done, I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there and kind of take out because they really get to like complaining a lot. And from what I was watching up until then, there was a lot of complaining by Miss Granny, and she was upset and everything. And I know that I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know what they're going through because I don't know. I really don't watch their channels, right? So I have no idea what they're going through. But it seems like she was going through a lot because she was like very much. She's kind of a wine bag, you know what I mean? Not to be never hateful or whatever, but she just always is like complaining about something, and I'm like, dude, you're talking about missing people's cases, missing kids, like they have it way worse than we do. Like no matter on our worst day, they have it worse than we do. Seth, Chris, and Katie probably have it worse than us on their worst day. I know Seth is going through hell. I could just tell by the looks of them. The other ones I'm not so sure because, yeah. Oh, it's gonna be 9:30. sorry, Sandy. It's gonna be 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I used to be in Central time, but now I'm on Eastern time. So, yes, it'll be 9:30 Eastern, so 8:30 Central, and then Mountain time is 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know. Don't get me started with the time zones. I will totally screw everybody up. So, oh, Seth is going live tonight. I didn't know that. Okay, so he's going on at 8. Okay, so I will have time to watch it, I think, before we talk. And that'll be right after he goes on. Well, okay, guys, let's just put it this way. I'm going to go on after Seth. I'm not going to go on live when Seth is live, if that makes sense. So, like, as soon as Seth is off, thank you, Sandy. I thought you were talking about mine. That's so hilarious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So 8 p.m. Central Time, Seth. Then I'll go live. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Gracie. Oh, look. Okay, now she's got 9. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm just gonna go on after Seth. And thank you, Sandy. Even I just forgot that I was Eastern time. Oh my goodness. It's getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. But I love it here. So yeah, so Wonderful. So let's just plan for that. As soon as he goes off, I'll pop on. I will be more than prepared. I will try really hard to stay focused on that live too, and really listen to what he has to say. And we can. You guys are the best. You're just the best. Sandy, I love you so much. And so yeah. Um, let's plan for that, and then we can just discuss it a little bit. I won't have time to, of course, upload any clips from it or anything like that, but I would definitely love to um, watch, and hear what he has to say, um, and be there just in the chat to support him. So all these different time zones are confusing sometimes, Joe. I know, that's why Joe says, and yeah, because I know that's why I'm always trying to make sure I remember to put it in there, because even for myself, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm still getting used to it, because I've always lived in central time zone. I lived in Illinois, and then I lived in Missouri, and now I'm in Florida, and it's totally different. Um, and it also doesn't feel like Christmas as much to me. Like, even though you can see, like, I have a little bit of Christmassy stuff in the background, and stuff like that. But it's definitely it's weird because it's not snowing and it's not cold. It was cold last night, like it got chilly, but it's a lot different. It's a lot different. Oh, cool, Sandy! I didn't know that. That's amazing. I did not know that. I did not know that. We're gonna have to get together for lunch if you're in my area. So, or go to the beach do a beach day. I love beach days. Those are the best. But yeah, guys, I will see you later. I love you all very, 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 very much. And thank you to all my mods. Thank you for everybody in chat. You guys were really great. We didn't have to play, whack-a-mole today, or whack-a-mole, whack-a-troll today, which was good. I didn't see a whole lot of crazy stuff in there, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, Michigan Christmas is beautiful. Yeah, green Christmas for you. Yes. Yes. And Gracie's in Louisiana, super warm here, crazy weather this year. I know, right? Well, too, yeah, Louisiana's nice and hot and everything. And yeah, it's just different because I'm just not used to it. Yeah, I know. Sandy, I need to get out there and help Terry with a search, because I always say that I wouldn't want to come up on anybody if I did search, but like I need to get up there and help Terry, because I'm a lot closer than I was before, I think, geographically, in that case. But yeah, all the lot lizards need to unite again, because see, whenever she did that before, I just posted a video of me talking to people in Missouri, because I couldn't make it down because my car was like in really bad shape too. But and Joe says she's in Montana. Ooh, I would love to go to Montana because it's so pretty up there. I see pictures of it and I'm like, wow, the nature. I love nature, so I would love it up there, I'm sure. Yes, we could ride together for sure. Sandy, split the gas and everything. Heck yeah, that would be fun. I like road trips. Like, I don't like to fly places really, but I like road trips. So I think that would be like way better, because I mean, you could always fly and it's faster, but I get so nervous. And Freeburg, Tennessee was so beautiful when we drove through to get to Florida. Wow, it was gorgeous, and just like all of the trees and everything were like green and red and yellow and orange, and it was gorgeous. I tried to get like a good video when we were passing by Nashville, and I wasn't recording, so it was a good fail on that one. Had a honeymoon in Gallatin, so pretty. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Oh, that is so awesome. Um, or sorry, Gallatin. Gallatin's on my brain. She didn't say Gallatin. She said Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg. Yeah. Well, and it's just like just all of the nature there is so pretty, I think. Like, I mean, yeah, there's like some steep inclines and stuff like that. It reminds me a lot of Missouri with like the rocks and stuff. That was one thing that I found that was really interesting, which I've said that to Terry Lynn. I'm like, it reminds me of Missouri, and especially like when there's those big drop offs in the hollers and stuff like that. But then it was probably 10 times prettier though, just There's spots in Missouri, like down by Branson, that when you're just driving through and there's just all the trees and stuff, but like it was pretty consistent. And then Georgia is a beautiful state too. I really enjoyed driving through Georgia. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Beagles or Django, he wanted to jump out the window. Like he had his nose out the window, and he hadn't done that the whole trip. But like it smelled so good. Like all the trees were very pretty. You could smell them all. Um, it's very beautiful. Winter gets harsh. Yeah. Oh, I bet, Joe. Yeah. Well, and like um, Chicago is really, really cold in the winter too, and they have like that bitter cold. And then we get like the lake effect snow. And then when I moved to Missouri, it was like ice storms and stuff, so it was much different. And now I'm in a climate where, yeah, it does get chilly. I was silly and put a lot of my winter clothes away because I didn't realize that, you know, I was going to need them. But like I'm wearing fuzzy socks right now and stuff like that. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's a little bit like weird to me because I'm like, okay, it's so nice during the day. Like I could go to the pool right now and go swim. And then at nighttime, probably like around 6 or 7, it starts dropping in temperature. Um, but like last night, it got really, really chilly. But usually it's just kind of like normally, you know. And Margaret's back. Margaret's back. Margaret's back. And Sandy says, before we leave, I want to tell you guys about Tony Mathis' phone call with Justin last night. Yes, ma'am. Tell us about it. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot about that. I spaced it out, so I'm glad you said it. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. Last winter, we got 34 weeks. Oh, my goodness. See, like, I don't know if I could handle that. Like, as I'm getting older, I get cold faster. Like, I mean, I'm pretty warm-blooded. I sleep warm, so I like it when it's, like, cool when I'm sleeping. But and Sandy says it was wonderful news, very hopeful. Tony said law enforcement is working very close with Seth and Tony, and things are looking good. Oh, they're getting closer and closer. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Oh, that is amazing news. Okay. So, oh, okay, I'm going to have to go over and watch it. I can never keep up with all this stuff, guys. But that's a good thing, right? Because okay, so like at the 6 month mark, they gained all this momentum, and I knew there was something good. Something good was going to come out of that momentum. I could feel it like moving forward, right? So okay, because I know Tony had said something about Christmas, like, and I'm like, really? And then I was like, I didn't know what to think. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm afraid to get my hopes up, and then I just think about Seth, and I'm like, I don't want him to have his hopes dashed. You know, that's the last thing I want. Um, and I'm sure Tony feels the same way. It's just I don't know. You know, Tony says, or sorry, Sandy says, Tony explained how law enforcement has been holding things close to the vest, but then they are communicating on a daily basis. Oh, see, and that's what I wanted. You know, I knew that they weren't going to tell us everything, and I wasn't really necessarily worried about that, but I was worried about them not telling Seth because I mean, I'd be there every day. They would not like me. They'd be like, "Oh God, here she comes again." You know I would be, and I'd be like, "Is there any updates? What can I do?" Blah 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 blah. You know, I'd be doing the whole 9 yards, the whole 9 yards. And Sandy says, "Yes, everybody was sending fireworks up. It was phenomenal." Oh, that's wonderful news, Sandy. I'm so mad that I missed it. Um, because that is good news. We need news like that. We need news to uplift us. And, you know, we have to hold on to hope no matter what. Even though, even though sometimes hope can be like a very, um, oh, what is the quote? I'm trying to think of it from Shawshank Redemption. He says hope can be a dangerous thing, you know. But in the same regard, I think that sometimes hope can be something that helps us hold on, right? It just helps us hold on. Um, it keeps us going. if we lose hope, then we don't have much left, right? So that's the thing, is we have to have it. And faith, faith is another thing that can be a little bit dangerous, in a way, but then also it's something that keeps us moving forward and keeps us motivated. Because if we lose faith, then sometimes that's all we have to hold on to. And Sandy says he also said he was hoping to bring Sebastian home by Christmas. Okay, yeah, I heard that. I heard that on Betty's show. But it might take a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I know. And that's what I was sad about, because I was like, I hate to think of like another holiday that he's going to be gone. I hate to think about Seth not being able to watch him open presents and be happy, and then just if he's out there, where is he and what's he going through and all of that. And Freebird says, I'm going to listen after and clean my house because you guys reminded me I need to. That's so funny, Freebird. You're awesome. Being lazy, I get you. I was doing that last night. I was like so frustrated with my video not loading and stuff. I was sitting here cleaning the house at like 1:30 in the morning because I had to put my mind on something different, because I would just sit there and stare at the dang thing, like, hurry up. I was like yelling at it. I'm like, would you just load already? And so, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like straightening everything up and, clearing some stuff out of the refrigerator and making coffee. And so then by the time I did lay down, it was like, I lied down, it was probably like 2:00-ish, but it still wasn't done. So I kept setting my alarm like for every hour to check on it. It was bad. It was really, really bad. But yes, I was cleaning my house as well, this Freebird. And Sandy says, I was going to ask if anybody else had a dirty house because all I do is Sebastian's Army. I know, but you know what's kind of cool is, like, I love podcasts because you could like put the earbuds in and listen and like do other stuff. But like when I have to actually sit and watch something, that's when I miss things a lot too, because it's like I can't just sit there and listen. I have to like pay attention to what's happening on the screen and everything like that. So that's hilarious. It newould all gets done, right, Gracie? I know. That's how I am too. Even last night when I was doing everything, I was like, I could still probably do more, but I just wanted to. What it was is like sometimes if I'm thinking about something, or like it's just one of those things that I've always done, like cleaning. Sometimes like gets my mind off of things, and so if I focus on something different, it helps me to it just kind of helps me out, I guess is the best way to say it. But yeah, I don't know. That to me, Sandy, I'm so glad that you shared that, because I think that we all needed that, right? Especially after seeing like the Roadhouse video, watching how Chris and Katie are doing things behind the scenes, kind of, stir the pot, push a narrative without coming out and just talking. Those things are all very scary to me, in my opinion, like in that aspect of things. It's very scary to me that parents could be that sneaky and dishonest. And that's my opinion. But to hear that someone on the other side of the investigation is holding out hope, and that they do feel like there's going to be something big, some resolution coming, that makes me feel good to know that. And I think that everybody needed that, because it's not easy to deal with this. It's not easy for Seth of all people, and the family members, of course, but for all of us that care a lot about Sebastian, and all we want is for him to come home. It's one of those things where it's we need to hear some good things come out every now and then, and not just all of this scary stuff that's been coming out. Not knowing who was in the vehicle in the flashlight video, but now it is confirmed that there was a vehicle which I've always believed Bobby that the vehicle was out there. I mean, she said it pulled onto Stafford and sat for 3 to 5 minutes, and then it backed out onto Kellen and out of the neighborhood, right? So she has said that since June, I think it was June 9th that she did the interview with JLR, around that time, roughly. So beginning of June, and but now we're having more people coming out to confirm that there was a car there. And so what was the car doing? Love you too, Sandy. Yes, we are Sebastian's army. We are Sebastian strong. We do want Sebastian to come home. I know I pray along with you guys every single day. And I'm glad we do that, because I really believe in the power of prayer. So I think it's important. Sometimes that's all we can do. And sometimes it makes us feel like we're not doing enough, but it's powerful, and it's part of keeping the faith, right? No matter what, we're keeping the faith. And Gracie says she loves Bobby. Yes, me too. Me too. You could almost see the outline of the car in the lights video. I agree, Gracie. That was one thing I wanted to go into with the mob crew, because he did a great job on that. He really did. He really did do a wonderful job on it, and it really shows that. And then also, Freebird, I have not forgotten about the email that and what we were talking about. So I also wanted to incorporate that a little bit too as possible theories. Because there are a lot of theories going on about the car and the flashlight video, and I really feel like it's important. And even in this podcast, Truth was talking about how, we don't know what we don't know, is what Craddock said, but then he also said that it does hold evidentiary value and things like that. So, and it could, I should say, he said it could hold evidentiary value, and if we read between the lines like we've had to so many times in this case, I think that we can clearly see in between those lines he's saying, yeah, we didn't want this video to ever come out, and unfortunately it did, and so now we have to downplay it, and no, I'm not going to give you any more information about it. And that's basically what he said if we're reading between the lines. He was not happy about it being released. I'll just say that, in my opinion, because even his facial expressions were, he was not pleased. And I don't blame him, because if it is important, it shouldn't be out there for everybody to see, only because it could be part of a small bit of information that they have. It could be the biggest piece of information that they have, and of course they don't want that out there. But we can't take it back. It is what it is. It's out there and open for interpretation now. But yeah, Sandy, thank you so much for sharing that. And we're going to explore some more things tonight. I'm going to be saying prayers for Seth, for his live to go well. And like I said, we will go live as soon as he is finished speaking his mind on his channel. And I will, I know you guys all know it, but I will link it, and I'll do like a little post on my community wall about it too. So that way you guys can go over and check out Seth's channel tonight. And Freebird says Sebastian's army. Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here again. I'm gonna pop off not pop off. I will pop off like Chris Proudfoot. No, I'm just teasing. I won't do that. I'm gonna hop off, and then I will see you all later. Thank you so much. I love you all. Be safe. Have fun with your family today, and we'll talk some true crime tonight. Probably if it's gonna be 9. Let's see. It'll probably be like 9:30 or 10. I'm guessing 10. So, but either way, as soon as he comes off, we'll go on and we'll talk. All right, Panda Bear's mom. So good to see you all the time, Laura. We love you too. Margaret, later, Miss Margaret the skater. We love you guys. Give Santa a hug for me, Margaret. Tell him what I want for Christmas. Love you too. You guys take care. I'll see you later. All right, bye-bye.